Alright guys, I don't know what happened to that last chat. Like, what happened to the live thing here? Let me know you guys are here. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna start playing this thing that caught my eye real quick. And it kind of clarifies a lot of things, so... No problem, Stephanie. I don't know why it did that. That's so crazy. But let's listen to this really quick, guys. Hold on a second.
We came back.
How's it going?
How was lunch?
It was macaroni and cheese and a bun and some milk. So it was good.
I want you looking at this.
Chocolate milk or regular milk?
Just regular milk. Chocolate milk's, I guess that's like,
Special.
special.
It is a holiday today, you know that?
I know. But I think they had chocolate milk on Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got milk with everything here. Obviously, you know, the steak. So,
Yeah.
a lot of dairy steak. So they got cheese with a lot of stuff too. So.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
And we brought you some non-lactose Powerade.
Yeah.
Like it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Flavors.
Oh, thank you. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So we don't want to take you all day, and we really do appreciate being able to sit down and talk with us. There's a few things we want to kind of clear up, wrap up, and then get any questions for us. That'd be fine too. Before we forget, did you want to talk about Ronnie real quick or no?
I talked to your dad. We were at lunch, and a couple things we talked about your property and waiting on the DA's office. But then the reason he called was Dave Cohen.
There's one.
Yeah, he's going to go pick up some of your personal items out of the house today. So
Okay.
yeah, so I just want to let you know that.
Okay.
We didn't tell him anything about what we talked
No,
about.
he doesn't know where. Yeah.
He doesn't even know we're here.
Oh, okay.
No.
He just lives like around the corner from me, so
Right.
that'd be good.
Yeah. So he just, a lot of times when anybody goes over there, they usually call just so I can give everybody a heads up. That way, have an issue, neighbors call and say, somebody's getting into the house.
Okay.
So that's how we do that.
Okay. Has anybody been like checking on the house, make sure like pipes haven't broken and all that kind of stuff?
Water's off.
Okay,
I
good.
do know that.
I was worried about like sprinkler and all that stuff. I usually blow them out and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
but I
right.
figured
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody's actually going through it or watching it or anything.
the water's been off for a while. I do know that. But the power's still on there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it, but we need to get a tiny bit more into the weeds and into the mechanics of the time you showed up at the house when Officer Coonrod was there,
Okay.
till the time when we were all done talking.
Okay.
So that includes at the house, that includes at the oil site, and everything.
Okay.
And part of the reason we need to get into that is I mentioned before how we're just really want to get into the mindset of what happened. And you can imagine this is really important for us in the future when we're talking to a guy that's in your position to say, this isn't really a monster. This is more like a Chris Watts. And boy, we remember with Chris, had we asked this or had we done this, we really could have been better. And so that's why we want to get into the mechanics of it a little bit more with you. And that's going to mean exactly how, exactly when, where were you, what was, Shanann wearing or all of that, right? So we really just need for you to take a deep breath and get into it with us. And would it be all right if we ask you some specific questions? Okay. So one of the first things we want to talk about was when you came home. So this is after they had passed, and you came home and met with Officer Coonrod. One of the first things we see on the video is you walking into the garage and then into the Shanann's car. Remember what that was about?
In your car?
Yeah, like I think you opened the door or something?
Yeah, you opened the passenger door, and it looks like you were looking for something, or maybe picked something up. Do you recall what that was?
Not that I'm aware of. Not looking for anything, but maybe just opening the car door to see if, like, shoes or, because I think Nikki was saying, I think I see the car seat still in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was, when I opened up the door, I looked in just to, it's like the first reaction of like, everybody's just waiting, pretty much waiting to get in the house.
Right. Okay.
So I wasn't like looking for anything as far as specific or anything, but I was just, I don't know, just reaction going in there and saying, I know everybody's there, I don't know what's going to happen when they get in the house.
Just out of nervousness, maybe?
Yeah. A lot of it was out of nervousness.
Sure. Okay.
And then backing up a tiny bit, I jumped forward too far. So she comes home at 2 in the morning. She gets into bed. Was when you guys had sex together, was that pretty quickly after she came home?
I think it was around like 2:30 because I felt like she didn't be in bed for a little while.
A little bit. Okay. And forgive me, it's not a pervy thing, but she woke you up.
Yeah, she was just. I could feel like a hand was on me, like rubbing my leg or my chest or something like that.
And then that was, signal it's go time type thing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
She was like, yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Guys, did you hear that? Like, seriously?
Half an hour after, and then after that, is there any talking? Or was it just kind of
Just like
quiet in the middle of the night?
It's buffering. Does everybody have a good connection? Okay, all right. I'm going to play this some more, okay? Because this is very important that we listen to what he is saying here.
Just like I just felt her hand around me. I'm just like, what?
Time to go. Yeah, okay. That's funny.
Guys, okay, I have to stop for a second. He felt her hand around him, so he felt it was time to go. Guys, he wouldn't touch her for 6 weeks. He wouldn't have sex with her. Do you honestly believe what he's saying right there? And that's proof. Shanann even stated that he wouldn't even put his hands on her. He barely kissed her at the airport. Like seriously? Like, he's a liar. Exactly. He wouldn't even sleep in bed with her. Like, come on.
All right. Then a couple hours of sleep, alarm goes off. Okay. I guess what I don't understand is, so then there was some talking, and then how did you get on top of her? How did that happen?
It's like when I got into bed, I just heard that she was laying. When she was sleeping, she was laying like face down, which she really never does.
Okay.
And I just got into bed and I kind of nudged her, and then.
First off, guys, he just stated she was sleeping, she was laying face down. First off, anybody that's been pregnant, we don't sleep on our stomachs when we're pregnant, okay? A pregnant woman cannot sleep on her stomach. It doesn't happen. Not face down. When you're pregnant, you can't sleep on your stomach. That's why they have pillows that they give you, so that you can lay on your stomach and have your stomach in a hole. That right there is a lie. So right there, you're a liar. So 2 lies we just caught right there.
She like kind of rolled over, and then I was just like right there on top of her.
Okay. And so that was after you'd gotten ready? Okay, so you go down, you make your food.
Oh yeah, I've got like cottage cheese and another couple things that I made my food that day.
Okay. And then, so this is, we talked a little bit earlier today about,
He just stated after this happened, he went downstairs, made cottage cheese or whatever, Keep in mind, guys, the FBI are already aware of the motion detectors pinging no movement for 2 hours, okay? They're fully aware of the facts and the physical evidence that's already presented in this case. So Chris stating what he's stating right now, they're already aware he's lying.
There was all of these things playing in your mind where you just didn't even want to go another second without having this conversation or without some sort of completion, right? And then so you come back, she's asleep, and then you just kind of nudge her.
Yeah, I just kind of like, hey, look up for a second.
And was there nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, it's pretty much on top.
Okay, so that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how we kind of pretty much talked.
Okay.
That was just right there.
And was there talking?
Yes.
Okay, and so a nudge, a talk, she's laying down and you're standing up.
I was like, I crawled back. I got on my side of the bed. And I just like nudged her like that.
Oh, okay. And
Basically, what he's saying is he crawled back in bed after he killed the girls. If you listen to what he's not saying, he crawled back in bed after he killed the girls and gave her a little nudge. And what I'm taking out of this confession is that he nudges her. She looks at the baby monitors. She now sees what happened and goes into shock. This is what I'm taking out of this confession.
then you're talking while you're on top of her? Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so...
But she was fine, like just laying there when you're trying to talk to her while you're on top of her?
Yeah.
Exactly. Was she fine just laying there and you're on top of her? What?
Thought we were going to have sex again or something.
Oh, okay.
She thought we were going to have sex again. She knew that Bella had to go to school in the morning. She even stated to Atkinson, "Oh my God, I'm so tired and I got to get up early in the morning because I got to get Bella to her first day at school. And I'm so tired already." You think she wanted to have sex for a second time? Hello?
Okay. And how long did you talk?
Like about 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe she basically from the position that we're in, maybe thought maybe I'd try to go get, I don't know.
Okay.
Did you just hear that? That maybe she thought I was going to have sex with her, like that I was going to go and have sex with her? That maybe she thought I was getting on top of her because she thought I was going to have sex with her? Did you guys just hear that? Okay, guys, keep in mind, I analyze everything. This is my job. This is how I help victims, okay? So I have to listen to everything they say and what they don't say. So let's continue with listening to this bullshit.
And I don't harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused. So, is that really what happened? Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on her neck. Okay. All right.
What did the talk?
Okay, guys, did you hear that? He was on her not long. Then his hands went around her neck. Mm-hmm.
Basically, just about how at first it was more of like the selling the house type of thing, or not going to Aspen, or trying to maybe go in at a different time, and then it just switched.
Right here, he's avoiding talking about what he had just done, so he's changing the subject. He's changing the subject with the investigators because he's trying to think of what he's going to say next.
So, I don't feel like I'm in love with you anymore, not compatible with that. And that's what I got to the it.
Okay.
Did she ever say at some point, get off of me or anything like that?
At the end.
Yeah.
Did she ever say anything about get off of me? At the end. Yeah, at the end, she was saying get off of me when she realizes what the hell he's doing.
That's what she said. I don't want you to feel like, you know, because where I was, it was kind of like she didn't want me to, like...
See, at the time, the investigators, FBI and them, they're not really taking on to this, so they take this audio and stuff and they go back and they reanalyze. So they take this audio and stuff and they go back and they reanalyze it. Usually during confessions and interrogations, you have two FBI agents or detectives in the room, and you also have like a glass window where you have other detectives behind that glass window picking up on what those investigators are asking the criminal at the time. So what's happening is there's only 3 investigators in this room right now. And there's nobody behind a window saying, yo, ask him this. He just said that. They're not picking up on that right now. Until they go back and analyze all... They're not picking up on that right now. Until they go back and analyze all the audio and say, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Audio and say, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This sucker just said this.
You know, sit down to, like, hurt the baby, right? Yeah. It's just not...
Did she accuse you of cheating at that point?
Mm-hmm.
So what'd she say?
Like, I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out to say, you know, that there is somebody else, but she obviously already knew.
Then your response to that was what? Did she say, no, there's not? Deny it?
I just denied it, but I mean, at that point, because when she would accuse me at the beach, it was a lot of like, there's nobody else, you know, there's nobody else, you know, or like, you know, and when we got back home, she always like said there's got to be somebody else, because she'd always talk to her friends like Christina or somebody on text messaging, and they'd always say there's got to be somebody else, that he's not wanting to sleep with you, like he's getting it from somewhere else, and there's, you know.
Nicole, yes, she did look up how much did Amber Frey make off of her book deal. Yes, absolutely. She looked that up. That could have also been because she knows that they were going to track her internet searches, and so that she could look innocent too. So she will look up things like that so that they could see, oh, she looked up this history like she's innocent, like Amber Frey was. Because in that situation, we knew she was innocent. Amber was definitely innocent in that situation. So what this girl does is she knows the FBI can get those and see what the hell she looked up. She can delete that history all she wants, but they're still going to be able to get that. So she could have done that as a way of covering for her own ass.
There's nowhere else. I mean, she couldn't really sign her gift card, so it's kind of like, you know, she just made me get distant, but she knew, and that's mainly the reason why I talked to her, because I knew, like, after that night, it was just like, it felt like, I just felt guilty, more guilty than ever before.
Yeah.
I just felt more guilty than ever before. But you killed your wife and your children. But you felt more guilty than ever before, cheating on her.
And then it seems to me, and sorry, I had a lot of thoughts here. So we know what happened, and we can talk about it today kind of openly. And that's what we need from you, is to just kind of say, you know, I know it sounds bad, or I know this, or I know I feel this way, but physically this is exactly what happened. So if you could tell us that, it seems then that it would have had to been a pretty quick transition from two people talking to this, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was like, I don't want to, like, trying to think of the last things we were talking about, but it was, you know, like, I love you anymore, and then she was like, you're never going to see the kiss me.
Oh,
that was it.
That's perfect, Chris. That's exactly what we need. Okay.
was used.
Guys, that's bullshit. She says, we're never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see the kids again. And this is what caused this, okay? Hello, premeditation. There's already evidence, physical evidence showing there was premeditation. So now he's in another lie, caught in another lie that we catch again. Lie, lie, lie. Because guess what? I'll go to court. We get 50-50. And I divorce your ass, and you can't keep my kids. You think you're going to keep my kids away from me? You must be crazy. You can say you're going to keep my kids away from me all you want. But if I don't want to be with you, you're not going to use my kids against me. The courts don't allow that. That's called parental alienation, okay? The courts recognize parental alienation, and they don't play that. They don't play that. So it doesn't work like that. So that's bullshit on Chris's part. He's lying again.
You saying that you didn't love her? Is that right? Okay.
And her saying you're never going to see the kids. Yeah. Okay. I can imagine how that made you feel. Sorry.
I did more than what I did.
Yeah.
Ryan Lee, there is no way this was premeditated. Ryan, have you read the Discovery Files, honey? I suggest you go back and read the Discovery Files. Go www.chriswattsdiscoveryfiles.com and read the Discovery Files, and it clearly shows you premeditation. And definitely read that for yourself.
And then the fact that she didn't scratch at you or anything, is that...
Alright, Ryan, you've read it all, but you're still stating that this wasn't premeditated. I'm confused. That confuses me. I'm sorry.
Just because it was so powerful?
I don't think it. I mean, I didn't feel like I had that.
Ryan, these aren't opinions. These are facts. So, evidence. It's not opinion. Opinion is... I don't like McDonald's sweet tea, you know, versus their unsweet tea. That's called opinion. Facts and evidence is facts and evidence. Facts are facts and evidence is evidence, okay? Evidence doesn't lie, and the evidence shows premeditation. And you can go into the court of law and you can show these facts and evidence, because hearsay doesn't go into the court of law. The judge does not want to hear hearsay. So everyone has to consider that. The courts don't work with opinions and hearsay, okay? It doesn't work like that. It's called evidence. Physical evidence and circumstantial evidence. Even without physical evidence, circumstantial evidence can put your ass behind bars, okay? This is called evidence, and they're called facts. They're not called opinions. They're called facts.
Don't have my hands around anybody with force. I don't even know what kind of force I was putting on her neck. Okay. Like I said, 2 to 4 minutes. I don't know if that was 2 to 4 minutes.
Did you cover her face at all during that time?
Both hands on the neck. Okay. And so, if it's done right, I mean, that can be a matter of seconds before someone on their carotid loses oxygen to their brain and is out, right? Did it seem like it was that quick, or? Okay. Maybe a minute, maybe 2. Okay. Screaming? Okay. All right. Did you see eyes go bloodshot or anything like that? Okay. Okay. And
You
then,
kept talking about the mascara. Did you see mascara on her face?
That looked like it was like. That's what I attributed it to.
Was she crying? Is that why? At what point did she start crying?
When we were talking about the relationship about not being compatible. And when she's talking about there's somebody else, that's where she started crying. That's what I thought, you know, it was mascara. I didn't know. It wasn't?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was there a pillow or something you were wanting to ask them?
Yeah, so was there ever at any time a pillow or the sheet or anything involved in like that on her face specifically? No?
Not like the sheet that kind of wrapped around the downstairs. That was about it.
The one that was at the site. Okay. And then the other sheets, they were in the trash. At what point did you put those in there?
I think that was
Obviously after I was in the house.
yeah. I think it was probably the next day or so.
Okay, he put those sheets, he said, the next day in the trash. No, it was that night when he was trying to clean up the murder scene because he knew they stated they were going to bring in cadaver dogs and trauma dogs. So he needed to clean the scene of that house, and it was heavy with chemicals, cleaning chemicals.
I think like I'm not sure like what happened. This is hard to talk about. Like when strangle someone out of like sometimes I guess they use the bathroom. So it was like I think that one of the major reasons why, because something that had happened.
Oh, okay.
You said she was sleeping face down at one point? Was her face in the pillow or was it turned to the side? How did that?
Kind of like on the side. She was kind of like a side sleeper, but she was more down than usual.
Okay.
But then she rolled completely onto her back when you started talking to her.
Now, as hard as that was, we do need to talk about the girls too, okay? All right, thank you. So with the girls, we talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive. Okay. Are you 100% sure that's true? Okay.
Can we ask you, go back just a second? You talked about before that Bella walked in, though, to the bedroom. Can you tell us about that before you left?
Yeah, I was just there, like, getting the sheet off the bed, and she had walked in, and she had her opening blanket with her. She was like, what's wrong? Jump on me.
And where was Shanann at that point?
Yeah, just,
Guys, did you just hear that? Bella walked in. She had her blankie with her.
pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
What would you say?
I just said, she didn't feel good, but that's why I tried to carry her downstairs.
Shanann? Okay.
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Attempted to pick her up and pick her up.
Keep in mind, baby Bella was probably screaming and hysterics at this point.
Take her down, but I lost grip after a little while. Just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, "What's wrong with Mom?"
See? She started crying a little bit. A little bit? You lying bastard. That wasn't a little bit.
And what'd you say that time?
So it's just doesn't feel good. She's a smart girl. She knows what's going on there.
Did you just hear that? She's a smart girl. She knew what was going on there. That's what he just stated, guys. That Bella was a smart girl. She knew what was going on there.
Did she ever touch Shanann? Trying to wake her up or anything? No.
So do you honestly think that he could load up these kids alive in that truck and her not still be screaming and crying and the neighbors hear this? Honestly, guys? Do you really think that? No way.
Didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything. And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. So she followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. And then what?
Cece wasn't up yet, but she was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed.
Okay, let's stop right there. Let's give Chris, like I said, I was going to be objective, okay? Let's give Chris the benefit of the doubt here. He said Cece was still asleep when Bella was witnessing this. They're light sleepers, guys. They're light sleepers. Everybody knows this, that they are light sleepers. So he has to hurry up immediately, get Bella because she's screaming, crying for her mommy. And he has to kill Bella immediately so that Cece doesn't wake up now. Which would explain that others said they seen shadows. If we're going to go in that aspect, which I don't see anything backing that story up, but let's just say that that did happen. Cece would have been the only one alive walking out that door. So as he's loading Shanann and Bella up, God rest their beautiful souls, Bella and Shanann were already in the truck when he loaded them, and Cece would have been the only one that would have been able to walk out. Because she woke up and now is wondering, because the garage door awoke her, and was wondering what's going on. That would only be something that makes sense to me.
And then they were just walking around the house. I was with put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck, and then grabbed the kids and I put them in.
Okay, there's another lie, guys. His lunchbox, he said he put in his truck and everything. When the police first got there, on body cam footage shows Chris's lunchbox was still at the house on the kitchen counter. His water jug was still there, and his backpack was still in the home. Police body cam evidence proved that that did not happen. So there is another lie caught.
Yeah, she
So Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench? Okay. And both alive at that point? Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point? Okay.
Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly.
All right, when that investigator just told him, and I believe you, that's making Chris feel like, okay, yes, all right, they're believing me, thank God. All right, now let me put my defense down, you know. They're believing this story, so let me go with it.
Okay. They were okay. So it's accurate that every day when Bella was talking to me at the site.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
When she said, Daddy, no. When we were driving to the site, she said, Daddy, it smells.
Oh, okay. So that goes back to maybe Shanann evacuating herself.
I don't know if it was that. They know that smell like a skunk maybe sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So I got some kind of smell that way, but I don't know what that was from.
And was that maybe outside the truck or was that in?
Guys, did you just hear that? I don't think that was Bella that said, Daddy, it stunk. That could have been Cece that said, Daddy, it stinks in here. Because Cece was only 3 and she, you know, probably couldn't comprehend death because a 3-year-old doesn't. However, Bella was turning 5. She was getting ready to turn 5. She would have already. So that kind of indicates that Cece could have possibly been in the truck and says, Daddy, it stinks in here. Because once your small muscles release when you get killed or when you die, you do, you know, your bowels release and your urine and everything will release. I hate to get graphic. So that smell does smell, you know, there's a stench to it. So keep in mind, a child that's in hysterics right now, if we're talking about Bella being alive in that truck, she would not be calmly saying, Daddy, it stinks in here. She would be screaming, crying, guys. She would be screaming and crying. She would have been, like, horrified what she had just witnessed.
Maybe.
All right, listen to that. They were quiet. They laid next to each other. Right there, he just said they were quiet. They laid next to each other.
Bella in her lap and Cece in her lap. Respect.
Bella in her lap, Cece in her lap. That contradicts his first statement in the 5th or 4th confession. This is the 6th confession that I'm playing. Stated that he buckled both of the girls into their seats. Okay, so right here, he contradicted himself and lied again that they were in each other's laps.
Word.
Oh, okay. Just trading off like little ones do. Okay. Were they awake?
I think one would kind of fall asleep, the other one. Cece would. They kind of trade off back and forth.
Were they talking to you?
Alright, I gotta go back to this comment. They might have been too traumatized to react loudly. People just freeze in situations. You're correct, Roxanne. People. But children do not. When a child... Let me explain it this way. A child is only born with 2 fears. The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Everything else is taught to us, right? Or... a child at their age is not going to be able to be quiet. Have you ever had a child that you yelled at and they keep crying and you're like, okay, enough, just stop crying. They're going to continue to cry because they just keep crying because they don't listen, because they don't work like that. They're not robots. We don't have a button to control the child and have them not cry. In a traumatic situation like this, the children are going to cry, guys. This is what happens in child abuse cases. And that's what gets the abusers so angry, is that the kids won't shut up. They just wouldn't shut up. So I had to shut them up. That's what I hear all the time. Well, I did this to them because they just wouldn't shut up, and I couldn't take it anymore. They just wouldn't stop crying. I had to quiet them. I had to do it. I hear this shit all the time. So guys, I hear it all the time. This is a lie. I mean, I've already caught this guy in I don't know how many lies just based off of this confession. Okay? And I am being objective here. I'm trying to be objective. Like, I'm trying. But these are lies, and I'm being honest. And I can't help but point this out and tell you I know children's behaviors, guys. I know kids that can't even talk. They're not even able to talk yet. And I can see their behavior. I can see their body language, that they're being abused just by their body language. This is what I do. This is my job. This is my passion. This is not what children do. What Chris is saying is not the truth, okay? It's a lie. Because children don't get the traumatized state. They don't get what adults get. The fight, flight, or freeze. A child doesn't have that. They don't have the comprehension of that. All they comprehend right now is what is in their present moment. And what they see in that present moment is fear. And fear makes them upset, and they cry, and they scream, and they holler. And you can't shut them up because it's fear. That's what happens. This is why a lot of sick freaking parents and babysitters and nannies that kill the kids, that's the thing they said. Well, the kid just wouldn't shut up. The kid just wouldn't stop crying. So, guys, trust me when I tell you this, okay? That's not how it works. Kids don't do this. I work with this all the time. This is not what they do. And like, this is just heartbreaking, guys. It is so heartbreaking that he continues to still continue to freaking lie. Like, give the damn truth. You know, if you really love these babies, just tell the damn truth. As hard as it is, just give the truth. Don't they deserve the freaking truth? I've seen the most monstrous of monster parents totally break down when they're telling the truth because they realized, oh my God, I fucked up. I fucked up and I did this to my babies. And I didn't mean to do it. I just lost it because, you know, financially I couldn't handle it and I just lost it. That's what they would say. Because they realized what they did to their babies and they knew what they did to their babies was wrong. You know, nobody is perfect. Like, parents snap. It can happen, guys. I mean, they snap. You got a lot of pressure. You got bills, you know, and a parent can snap. This is why we put a lot of the parents in anger management in abuse cases where there's corporal punishment that's gone too far. So we, you know, give them anger management and stuff, and also parenting classes so that they know how to handle the stress better. You know, but I'm not hearing a father that is saying, oh my God, I fucked up. I fucked up. I killed my babies and I fucked up. And I'm sorry for cursing, but I'm telling you, this is what I do. This is what I do, guys. This is what I hear all the time. Child abuse cases, especially child abuse, my passion. Oh my God, my passion. Because these babies don't have voices. They don't have voices, damn it. So this right here, he's lying and he still can't give them the freaking truth. And they deserve the truth. And this really upsets me.
Just about, you know, just saying, Daddy, it smells. It was early in the morning, they were showing up early.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have to, so you didn't have to wake CC up?
No, there was noise from trying to get you downstairs.
Right there. Did you just hear that? Did you wake Cece up? No. She heard the noise, so she came downstairs. Did you guys just hear that? Did you wake Cece up? No, she came downstairs because she heard the noise. Because she heard the noise of the garage door.
Did she kind of fall down the stairs?
No, it was more like trying to get her down and, like, you know, from the steps, maybe her foot hit the next step kind of thing. They're license groups.
So then, once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to that one site, I get Shannon out and stuff. Go over to the park right off the site there.
Okay.
The girls are still in the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more like, you know, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. And then is that when you buried her?
I don't remember if the site dug a hole there first, or, but they didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then, hold Shanann out.
Are vegans healthy?
1 second.
Are vegetarians healthy? French fries and beer are vegan, so you tell.
She's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground.
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first. Okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the backseat.
Okay. Was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so once again, was it a hand over her face? Was it?
It was a blanket over and my hand.
And then your hand. Okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing. Okay. Did she struggle?
Okay, you heard that. Let's go back to when he said, Bella walked in the room, what are you doing to mommy? And Bella had her blanket in her hand, right? So Bella had her blanket in her hand, but he's saying just now that he used the blanket that Cece had to put over her mouth with his hand. He just stated that. So when I tell you that they talk about, this is called a twisted truth.
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face, and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth.
And we're just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing. Okay. What was Bella doing?
Just sitting there next to it. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Okay, what was Bella doing? She was just sitting back there. She didn't know what was going on. Are you kidding me? I watched a video where Bella was holding on to Cece, watching a cartoon, and telling Shanann, don't take Cece away from me. And she said, baby, I'm not taking Cece away from you. She was holding on to her to protect her sister from watching a movie. Guys, come on. Like, come on. This doesn't make any sense. Bella is not going to sit there and do what he just stated. Like, get the hell out of here. We cannot be this crazy to believe this crap. Who the hell believes this? No, he just can't confess up. Like, just tell the damn truth. They deserve the truth. Oh my God. And Bella, the kids already cried for their mommy when their mommy was out of state working and stuff. They always cried for mommy. Chris even stated that in interrogations. They always cried for mommy. That night, Bella kept getting out of bed looking for mommy. And he promised her, you'll see mommy in the morning. I promise you, you'll see mommy in the morning. Because they loved their mommy. They loved her. Do you honestly think that they're at an oil site and he's watching him put her mommy in the damn dirt and Bella's just sitting there? No way. No way. Like, no way. No.
Did she see you? Okay. And then, did that take a minute or two?
Nothing. I had no like concept of time at that point.
Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I was thinking it's what happened.
Okay, I wonder if they've had a history of domestic violence before this. The whole thing still seems odd for a guy with no to just snap. I don't see any history of domestic violence in this. This case of what he did is domestic violence. Because when a father annihilates or a mother annihilates her family, it's called domestic violence, okay? I see domestic violence in the 6 weeks leading up to Shanann's murder because I see the mental abuse done to Shanann, the mental torture, because there's different types of domestic violence. And people think that domestic violence is just a physical. No, domestic violence is physical, verbal, emotional, and also a person can abuse you by actually ignoring you. You know, it's a psychological thing that they do. that, you know, it's hard to explain. I would have to like really get into detail to explain those things. But domestic violence is a broad term used, and not enough people talk about domestic violence for some reason, and I don't understand. It needs to be talked about more. We need to bring more awareness to domestic violence. Domestic violence in a relationship is the number one reason that children are murdered too, that there is child abuse. When the abuser is abusing a woman, it goes to their children too. And also the children witnessing these things is abuse, because it's abuse that the children have to witness these things. So I'll do a video about domestic violence and the circle of domestic violence and how that works. But this clearly shows that he mentally tortured her for 6 weeks. A mental torture. And he knew exactly what he was doing in that.
For those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened, so I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull CC out?
I pulled CC out.
Misty, I just made you a moderator just now. It just went through, babe. There you go.
Okay, so once CC's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled CC out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay.
Okay, Trudy, you just said verbal abuse. It repeats in your head, so they say it once, but you hear it many times. Yes. And domestic violence, I believe the physical abuse, bruises fade, but the mental abuse stays, and it puts scars in you, because it's always easier to believe the negative stuff that they do and say to you. So verbal abuse, to me, is the worst. I would rather get the bruises instead of the mental and verbal abuse. Because that sticks, and that sticks really hard. That's the worst form of abuse.
With regard to that tank, did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
Put her in? Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, when we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay, and so she went in feet first? Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug?
I think so.
Okay. Did you have to like move her around a little bit and get her in there?
Do you think he wants to get killed in prison? That's why he's doing this? No, he didn't know that this was going to come out. Because the investigators told him, oh, no, this is just between us. We're not even going to tell your father. We're going to let your father hear about this. Guess what? Ronnie and Cindy Watts got a big eye-opener last week when it was told Chris just met with FBI and confessed. And they went, holy shit. That's what happened in that part. And the investigators lied to him, which they can, and they do. They lie all the time to criminals to make them, you know, feel like it's going to be private. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's a crock of shit, because it comes out, like right now, it's out, you know. So they lied.
I think so. Okay. All right. No, I didn't have to, like, you know, hit her, like, you know, okay.
But keep in mind, this is going to be on the news, and him not being in solitary right now, like child killers. And he just admitted to killing his children. So, Makes you really wonder what's going to happen to Chris now.
My bad. It's not like you stomped her in.
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch.
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. Or she asked if it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart.
Okay, let's go back for a second. Is that the same thing that's going to happen to me that happened to Cece? Let's replay this.
A little bit and get her in there.
I think so.
Okay.
All right. No, I didn't have to hit her
Okay.
my back.
It's not like you stomped her in.
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch.
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. Or she asked if it was the same thing, the exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So Bella's pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Chris?
She had that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. And what exactly did she say?
She said exactly the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't remember what I said.
Okay.
I don't know if I just said yes like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way? Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. And that's the last thing she said.
Did she say no, Daddy, like, please, no, Daddy type thing? Did she say, don't do it?
And she said, no, Daddy.
Okay. Same way, hand on neck, hand over mouth, or hand over blanket, which is over mouth. Okay. Did that take a couple minutes?
Feel like it.
Okay. Then what?
I just noticed she had a couple spots like over her eye or something, and I picked her up. Same thing.
Okay. And we talked a little bit earlier today about it. You don't remember why a different tank? Okay. And there was no reason?
No, they're both the same tanks. I mean, they're just like, I don't know why I did two different things.
Okay. Does one, I never got up there, does one catwalk lead to both?
Okay, if you're a father and you're talking about this, which is horrible to hear this right here. I mean, guys, that breaks my heart. I want to cry for these babies. That's horrible, right? But I think something way more sinister happened before this. And it happened at that house. Something way more sinister. Because she's not going to be calmly saying, Daddy, is that what's going to happen to me? What just happened to Cece? She's not going to be calmly saying that, what Chris says in her sweet little voice. He said, like her little voice that she always says, is, Daddy, is that going to happen to me? What happened to Cece? Her little voice is not going to be that calm, guys. It's not. That's not going to happen like that. That baby fought for her freaking life. I mean, this guy is the devil. And just like Shanann's mom said, the devil comes in many forms. And this is the devil. And what really breaks my heart is when I see people come and they have to be negative about these victims. They're victims, guys. These babies are the victims here. Shanann was the victim. It's heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. Just, God, Like, if you could think of anything worse, like this story that he's telling is the worst that you can hear. But it's not as bad as the other of this happening at home. All of these murders happened at home, and I'm telling you, I'm going to show you guys in another video because I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to put all of the evidence together and back up what I'm telling you guys. And I'm telling you, it's going to be way more sinister than what he's saying right here. Because he just said in her sweet little voice, she said, "Daddy, no. Don't do that." Guys, she just watched her mother be wrapped up and buried. She's watching her sister be murdered. And she's being stuffed into a tank where he just said he had to put his foot and push her in there. And you think she's going to say with her sweet little voice, "Daddy, no"? I think it's way more sinister than what we're hearing right here. There's something way more sinister. This story is actually a nicer story. This is a nicer story, guys. I have to put this on a charge. Even though it's a horrific story. Sorry, guys, you gotta follow me. There's more to this story, okay? And the sad part is something way more sinister happened in that home. I can only imagine these babies and what they just went through and had to go through. Like, Lord, just heartbreaking, unbelievably heartbreaking. Like, it just really breaks my heart. Oh. And then what I don't understand is that the people that come on to the comments and they say horrible things and, like, really, these are babies. These are innocent children. No matter what your opinion is about Shanann, she's not here to defend herself. So what kind of person are you that you do this and you say this? Like, you don't have a heart? Like, these are innocent babies that never even had a chance in life to grow up and put their wedding dresses on and have a wedding day that every girl dreams about having and their own family, and they never got that chance to have any of that. Little Bella's vision board. She never even got a chance to go to Disney World. Like, come on. Why does people have to be so cruel in this world? We see enough evil, guys. Like, never in my life have I seen the most vile comments toward this innocent family. And even to me, I don't get it. Like, what is wrong with people? Why can we not learn empathy and compassion? This is what the world needs more of. We need more compassion and understanding. They are innocent victims here, guys. They're innocent. They're the victims. Like, please, don't do that to them. They don't deserve that. Just don't. Just don't do that. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Oil can go in either tank.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, does that eventually indicate you?
Just one catwalk.
Okay. Now, Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like it a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering it?
Yes, what is in the dark always comes to light. It always comes to light, guys.
All right. So then they're both in there. Is there any reason to think they were alive when they fell in? Okay. You're pretty sure? Okay. So once that's done, then what?
Go over to Shanann, clear away some weeds and dig a hole.
Okay. Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that rake, if I remember right, it was
Part of it just sitting there because it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
No, when I was raked, when I was like just smoothing the ground over.
On this day, it broke when you were doing that? Okay. Was that after you were all done?
Can't hear it.
And it seems as though maybe the first people that got there saw it was stuck in the ground.
I guess it was like, not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
Alright, can you hear it?
I don't think so.
Okay. At this point then, this is just before then, in a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Conrad. Okay. And so once she's buried, then
That's when people start showing up. I believe.
did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes you were talking about, I noticed that at that point.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember she had a shirt and things blue underwear on.
Okay. That's what at that point she was okay.
Right there, they asked, did she had given birth, partially given birth? He said no. Right? He said no. So that means he killed her and then immediately got her out of that house. Immediately. So this happened, which would explain the motion detectors, pinging no movement for 2 hours, and only started pinging when Chris was getting ready to leave the house. So that means Shanann got murdered really quick and then out the door.
Can you tell us about when the district attorney got up and talked about Bella's injuries and stuff?
I didn't want to hear about that.
Right. Can you tell us about that?
As far as like her finding her tongue,
And ripping her frenulum, which is that connective skin from your lip to your gum, it was gone. Her gums had it looked like a hole in them. And the pathologist said it was from her obviously struggling to get away.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So like, I didn't put my hand over her, like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it would have been just downward pressure on her, this area.
I didn't see any of that when I picked her back up. Like was it like her lip was like missing or something?
No, see the skin that connects there? That was ripped. Like, it was gone. So it kind of made like a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like, maybe like if her mouth.
Guys, they're asking him some serious questions about his daughter's mouth right now, okay? About her gum being torn from her lip. And listen to him. Be very calm, cool, collect. No emotion. Talking about, oh, I didn't see any of that. Like, I didn't know what they meant. Listen to how his demeanor is.
Hand was not hurt. Head was like twisting back and forth. Could that have done that?
Yeah.
I had a blanket over. I don't know.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing or trying to get away?
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You did?
But I didn't even know that had happened.
Could you tell if she was trying to yell or say anything, or?
The only thing was the daddy no, and then like some hick runs here and there. And like I could breathe.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Nicole Atkinson?
After before she got to my house, or after?
Just any time during that morning?
I think I didn't get one until I saw her on my doorbell camera.
And that was, what, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that's right around.
Okay. And so at that time, had everything been done out of 3319?
Yeah, I was at a different site. It was at a pumping unit.
Okay. So you went from there when it was all done. So girls are in the oil, shenanigans in the ground, and maybe a little bit of cleanup. Was there any questions we had about the sheets or any garbage cans or garbage sacks?
No, I think I answered those already.
All right. So then you went from that site to another site to work.
And because we had.
Yeah, so keep in mind, a person just commented, I think Shanann was abused emotionally. Yes, absolutely. The evidence shows me definitely with the 6 weeks leading up to her death. That's facts. So going on facts, she was abused emotionally by Chris. The discovery files through text messages, physical evidence shows that emotional abuse that he did do to her. I would only be speculating anything, back before that because of everyone saying they had such a good relationship. Now, he could have very well, because her first marriage was a verbal abuse. We tend to follow patterns sometimes in abusive relationships. You look for in your second partner something that will remind you of your first partner. Even though they were abusive, there was a reason why you fell in love with them. So you're looking for that in the second partner, something that kind of reminds you of that first partner for a reason. And so maybe Chris showed some type of aggression and abuse in that aspect. Could have been sexually something. And, like I said, I would be speculating that he was abusive before the 6 weeks. Because nothing has really shown me factual evidence stating that he was. It was only this factual evidence of emotional abuse. And that is what I have to go by. I can't go by hearsay.
There was this, at the survey 19, there was a little still down. That's where everybody stood up there, because that still, that was they were trying to figure out what happened.
Oh, while you're on that subject, we back up. The night before, you had some text messaging about going out there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was, I think, Friday that we had figured out there was a spill out there from like his old site. It's set up a little different. So what had happened was there was a downcomer, and then there's a side comer going into those oil tanks, and one of the downcomers is tied into a back pressure line that split, and every time it was dumping oil, it was split underground, and the oil was coming up out of the ground. And we decided just to go out there on Monday, because it was Friday, and he had like switched it out, or either he shut it in, or he switched lines, or he covered it up and see if it was going to come back or not.
Okay. And then it's more specifically, you talked, or your text about how you would go out there and take
Yeah,
care
I'm
of
going to
it.
take care of it for him, because I've gone out there plenty of times.
Okay.
But I use.
All right, my moderators, I see some trolls on here. If you guys want to go back and look at that and get them out of there, please.
When another guy was out there, as far as another foreman, he showed me around out there like a year or so ago, and I just got familiar with the place, and I just went up and out.
Okay. And so that was.
That's disrespectful, the lady saying Bella is alive, though. Like, seriously, don't do that to her. This baby is a victim. Just don't do that.
Was a genuine.
Yeah,
that was a pre-app.
people that said that you wouldn't normally do that.
Normally help somebody?
No, like a field to your position, like not you specifically, but your position doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I was a rover and to a field coordinator, I still try to do everything I used to do.
Okay.
That's still like I wasn't good at delegating stuff. I just used to just doing stuff on my own, or just like taking care of it for somebody else.
Right.
I wasn't good at the whole like, hey, you go do this, you go do that.
Alright, I don't watch Operation Z because I don't go with conspiracy theories. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I see too much traumatic, real life shit in the world every day in my profession. And I cannot go off conspiracy theories. They actually make me sick to my stomach because there are real life victims out here. And then you have these people that state conspiracy theories and they minimize the victims. And that to me is sick. So I am not going to minimize what happens to victims because that's real life and that really happened. And conspiracy theories, they will say that, oh, there wasn't a shooting, you know, that didn't happen. That Vegas shooting didn't happen. Well, guess what? You're hurting the family when you do stuff like that because they really are victims. And that really did happen. And it had nothing to do with the government or anything like that. So, like, that to me is disgusting. And it definitely disrespects the victims that lost their lives. And it's just not right. Like, it's not right. We can't do that to these victims. Like, we just can't, guys. We can't.
Do that, or I sit over here.
Well, you see what it looks like to us, you know? When they came out, we're like making plans to be out there, you know, that day.
But that's not what it was. That was natural.
No.
Okay.
I was just asking to help them.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girls?
Hard to really tell. I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45.
See right there, he asked, what time were you done with the girls? And he said, I really can't tell. Everyone started showing up there.
8 o'clock.
Okay. So, and then you were there, you just went to a different site?
Yeah, it's like I think it was either the 10:29 or the 6:29 or something like that.
And so, how long were you at that site?
The rest of the day until I got called away.
So then that was, you were there for at least a couple hours until you heard Nicole Atkinson on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And then I think there was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And you got home at 2 something?
No, it's closer to 1:30. Around there.
So somewhere around, 9 o'clock-ish, all the way till 12:30 or 12 or 1 or something, and then came home.
Yep.
Okay. There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've heard a Metallica song that people have been, someone sent me lyrics to it called Battery.
Do you remember doing that?
That was Nikki Kessinger. She liked the song.
Okay, hold on, Julius. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to put it on the salt lamp or a black screen? I'm sorry. It could be annoying, but, I mean, let me know what you want me to put it on because this is just a black screen, unfortunately. Because it's audio, it's not the actual interrogation video where they're showing Chris's ugly self. So tell me what you guys prefer. Okay, the salt lamp. We'll do the salt lamp. That is more calming, especially if you have to listen to a freaking evil monster. Alright, hope you guys can hear the audio.
Or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
So that's why
you looked it up.
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I didn't, I just kind of looked at the words. So I just kind of looked at the words. like a family coinciding as a battery.
Okay.
You know, not like, you know, hitting somebody.
Yeah.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? How did that come
I
out?
don't know, it was kind of strange. I mean, she...
Okay, guys, did you just hear that he said Nikki wanted to hear the lyrics to Battery? If anyone heard the lyrics to Battery, why would Nikki want to hear the lyrics to Battery? You just murdered your entire family and you're looking up those lyrics for Nikki to hear those words. Chris, did you just tell on Nikki? Uh-oh.
She's very into different types of music, and I mean, music I never really thought I'd ever listen to. And like, she got me into a few things there as far as music wise, but like, Battery
Wait.
was something that she asked me because I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know, like, hey, what's this lyrics mean?
Guys, he's lying again, okay? For one, he's saying that the reason why he looked that up is because he's trying to show them that it wasn't premeditated. I really didn't try to kill my kids, you know. And his story sounding, you know, bringing the girls out to the oil site shows that it wasn't premeditated. And, you know, I'm really not that monster that you think I am, you know. And looking up those lyrics was just for... She knows that I'm into Metallica. Like, that's what he's doing right there.
You know, I just looked it up just to look at all the words together and just put it in my head again, and all that. It just made something out of nothing. That's what was strange. I got those lyrics in a letter.
Oh, so now does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some specific lyrics to it.
Yeah.
I think that guy from California.
Oh, the kid?
Yeah.
Senior?
Somebody sent him in prison the lyrics to that. God, we got a lot of sick freaking people in this world.
With regards to then when you get home, you and the officers, you know, saw what they saw. You mentioned that you took the ring off her finger. And then the book, did you throw that in the trash? Okay. There was another book, Body of Evidence. Does that sound familiar?
That you had in your cell.
Yes, Hazel.
Patricia Cornwell.
Maybe. Does that sound right?
Probably.
Did that in Moore County?
What was that about?
That was just one they gave me.
Who gave it to you?
The deputies.
Not your attorneys, or?
Oh no, they couldn't give me books.
Oh.
No, any book that I had was given to me by their book cart that they had.
So you didn't ask for that book, or?
No, they just kind of give me like, hey, I read some Brad Thor books. He's like a military guy. And Patricia Cornwell, my grandma always read her books. Thought it was, I mean, she loved those books. And I'm not sure if that was probably one of the first books, not the first book I read there, but probably the second book I read there. But it was like they gave me, here's 4 books, choose.
What other book did you read? Do you remember?
The first book they gave me when I was in Suicide Watch was, I don't know why, but it's Murder at Something. And I was like, I looked at him and was like, that's the one we got. I'm like, okay. But,
They handed you that book by itself, no other choices?
nah, the next book I got, another guy that was, I guess they're overcrowded there, a guy was sleeping on a cot outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. It's more of like a situational book, like a time period book. So that one was a little more calm. But that was the first book they gave me.
You don't remember what it was called? Murder at Something?
We were at the Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah, I think it was, remember the Kennedy Center. I think it was written by Margaret Truman.
Did you read it? Really good?
It was decent. I'd never read a book in a long time, so it was different, but like some some of the books they gave you, like when you're in the hold. I know you're not allowed to have books in outside the Bible, but the counselors there let me have a couple books, and they just like, here's some to choose from. This ones they had. I told them like mystery books or something like that, and that's the ones.
It's kind of crazy they're giving them like murder books, murder mystery books.
You hope that it wasn't some sort of insult or, you know, you can only hope. Okay. What do you think of yourself now?
Back when all this happened, when I was in Walt County and everything, I definitely didn't feel like myself anymore. Like when I turned and talked to me and talked to some of my friends and like some of the stuff they would say, like I can say good things, but I'm just thinking to myself, how could anybody even say those things about me now, being what happened? It's like people that I knew that I never talked to again, that like maybe I was like the roommate like back in the day or like went to school with or something like that. Now they're just gonna say that's, it's like Chris Watts, that's, guy with the high school ex guy, like, he did all this horrible stuff to his family. Now, like, I know I shouldn't really, take to heart what other people think about me so much. It's just a matter of like what God thinks about me, what he thinks, what his opinion is, not anybody else's. Because everybody's gonna have their opinion about everybody. Like before I got in trouble, I was always the guy, hey, look, they're judge somebody on TV, like that guy that's no orange junction, that guy that's, that killed that guy, that guy that raped somebody, like, oh, that guy's horrible. Now and it's like, now like when we come out at like 6 o'clock at night and there's something on the news, like I try not to even pay attention to it. It's like I don't want to be in that position where I'm judging somebody else, because that's, what people were doing to me. And I don't want to be that person anymore, but just hope that I can, step back and kind of look at everything that I've done in my life, and then like up to that point, and just like I did some good things, but matter of the most important thing, I screwed up the worst. And so if I can at least maybe help somebody, and however much time I have left.
Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were gonna do that to them? Honestly.
It's like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you talking about the tanks or just.
Yeah, like just.
The thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it.
See, Tammy just asked him, were you thinking about what you were going to do with the girls when you went out there? What she was asking was, did you think that you were going to kill the girls when you went out there? Was that your intention? His mind automatically went to, what do you mean, the tanks? So right there, subconsciously, it came out that he states, what do you mean, the tanks? Because that right there told on himself that the girls were already dead. Because he would have took her question as, no, I didn't think I was going to kill the girls. Why did he go to the idea that she was talking about the tanks? These are things that we have to pay attention to. Because this is where he accidentally tells the truth. Because she didn't ask that question. And it's clear she didn't ask that question. She asked, were you going, did you intend to kill the girls when you went out there? And Chris says, well, what do you mean? The tanks? Right there, we have to pay attention to, guys. That's saying that he thought she was talking about the tanks. She was talking about the murders. Because in his mind, already, subconsciously, he knows the girls were already dead when he took them out there. That's why his mind went to her thinking and talking about the tanks. You have to listen to what people don't say.
Doesn't make sense to me.
you could have done it before you guys left.
I don't.
And not had him, alive in the backseat. They could have been with Shanann in the backseat.
I didn't think about anything really, like, as far as, like, how everything was gonna happen. I don't know, like, why it happened. Like, why I left everything out there in the field and why, like, all this stuff, like, just, none of this makes sense. At all.
But to Tammy's point, did you think that they might be coming back, or did you know they wouldn't be coming back?
No, man, the whole, it's like, in my mind right now, I'm thinking back, I'm hoping that I wasn't, that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that, no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood and flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened.
I don't understand how it happened. Possibly you have a mistress you wanted to give first twos because she wanted to have a son for you. She always ended up with guys that, were always married and had kids. And you were in debt. So now your wife is getting ready to have a baby. And it's going to mess up giving your mistress her first. So it's a financial burden. You couldn't be able to start a new life with your new mistress. So this is why you decided to kill your family. So Chris, again, with his lying BS.
So, I even read books that say, no dad would ever do anything to hurt his children. This happened. So I always think of myself, like, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it just...
He got that part right. I was even thinking, was I even a dad at one point? No, you weren't a dad, buddy. Because a dad wouldn't kill his children. A dad wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do anything to hurt their kids. Because they love their children. And when their children get boo-boos, they go in panics and try to help them. A real father would not do this. They would protect their children with everything they have in them. They would give their life for their own children. But a mistress comes in and gives him a natural high. And he wants to now give that mistress everything she doesn't have. And being that the mistress has got some issues herself, Chris is trying to do everything he can to make this mistress happy. And that includes murdering his whole entire family. That's his motive right there, guys. That's the motive.
It's just going to take a long, long time to guilt and everything to get this through.
Have you asked for forgiveness from God?
It just takes a long time for me to forgive myself. And that's one thing that's going to take. Let's hope that they can one day forget me too. Stay with
I
it.
think you said earlier that you were so angry at Shanann or whatever that you were gonna, anyone in your path of destruction or whatever was gonna get it. Basically, is what kind of made it sound like. I'm not saying that exactly right.
You heard that? In the beginning, he stated that he was so angry at Shanann that anyone in his path was going to get it.
But why are we?
That would mean that a person that is in that kind of state is not going to have 45-minute drive with children alive if you're in that angry type of state. You are not going to have a 45-minute drive doing that. That means you're going to have a temper that's explosive because you have so much anger that you just did this. And this is why I keep going back to what the Discovery Files show. And the Discovery Files shows me that the children were murdered before Shanann got home. And that's based off of physical evidence. And that would cause the amount of rage. Because an abuser thinks, see what you made me do? You made me do this. So then he has this anger and even more rage at Shanann. So he takes it out on her, like he stated in his first interrogations. I did what she did to them. Because in his mind, he's saying, look what you made me do. And that's a typical abuser. That's how they talk. That's what they say. That's what they say, guys. So listen to that. I'm talking 19 years of experience here with this shit, okay? This is what they do. Look what you made me do. You made me kill my kids. And this would be the aggression of anybody in his path is gonna get it. And that would be why he went so hard on Shanann. Because she made him kill his kids. In his mind. That's what he's thinking. When in reality, no, Chris, you're the one that did it. You're the one that chose to kill your family. And you are alone the only one that chose to murder your family.
You're so angry at Shanann.
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because, I mean, it happened at the wedding. Like, that's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I mean, I blew up at my family to a point where I said some horrible things to them back in 2012 that I pretty much told my family that, I don't need them anymore. Because I said, I cussed my mom out. I did all this kind of stuff. I never thought, and I don't know if it was just like Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just like rage that was like I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July, but I can't see my kids. I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just like, I don't know if that had something to do with it, that something inside me just triggered it, and then just like all that pent up from the wedding and everything, it's like a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
So what I'm taking from what was just stated there is that he had a lot of pressure on him from his mother about Shanann. So the pressure, the added pressure of his mother and not going to his wedding, and then all this other stuff, the peanut incident, that pressure, his mother, she no longer was able to control her little baby boy and wash his clothes and cook his meal. He had a new woman in his life to do that, so her codependency was not able to be there anymore. Chris was a grown man that had a new life, and mommy just couldn't be mommy in control anymore. So therefore, that could have really played a big part in it. And of course, the mistress. 6 weeks before all of this, couldn't keep your hands off of each other to being like so lovey-dovey and, you know, to that. Like, come on. Kessinger had a major influence on this guy's brain. He was in another, like, world.
What happened in 2012?
No, I'm not saying she had a gun to his head. What I'm saying, it's called manipulation and pressure, because what happens when we have a relationship and we fall in love with the person? We will do anything for that person, right? Because when you love somebody, you would do anything for that person. Like, you would want to give them anything and everything they want. You would even go in debt just to do that. And a lot of men do that. Just to make their wives happy, they will give them everything just to make them happy. And just like as a woman, to make our husbands happy, we'll do anything for them to try to make them happy, right? Which is what Shanann did. So Chris is now infatuated with this mistress, and the added pressure of her wanting him to leave his wife and not knowing, is he really going to leave her? Like, you know, is he really going to do this? Because she knows damn well, because she's looking up social media. She knows that he's not in a state of being divorced like she stated. He was getting into a divorce. That's not true. Because she could look up social media and clearly see Shanann put her whole life on social media. This girl knew exactly what was going on because Shanann lived her life as an open book. Even from her first video, oops, we did it again, and she's announcing her pregnancy. You think that mistress honestly did not know that Shanann was pregnant? Or that she wasn't pregnant? Chris and Chris alone killed these kids, okay? I'm not saying Kessinger killed the kids. Nothing is showing me that Kessinger killed the kids. And I'm going on physical evidence. What I'm saying is there's a manipulation going on. And it has to be something more further and deeper than what we all are actually looking at and paying attention to. She had planted seeds in his head. And maybe Chris couldn't read between the lines of those seeds she planted. But there's more to the story of Kessinger. And so we would have to go back to her other relationships and ask the guy that used to date her, what type of relationship did you have with this girl? To kind of try to find out about that. You know, I could have Kessinger investigated. I mean, that's simple. We easily can do that. So there's something more to Kessinger besides what we are all led to believe, you know. Do I honestly believe Kessinger was there and did this? No. Chris and Chris alone did this, and Chris has to take responsibility for Chris's actions. So no matter how many seeds Kessinger planted in his head, he should know right from wrong. But I don't think Kessinger had her hands on the girls or Shanann and did any of that. Nothing is supporting that to me. But the manipulation, it's clearly there. And from what I take of these confession tapes, these investigators are fully aware of some manipulation going on. And what I take from these confession tapes is that there is an ongoing investigation, and that's clear. They're looking further into that. We best gotta believe that one, guys.
There was my mom and Shanann, just like from when I proposed to her, it was at the beach, and from then on, it was just like she always went up to Shanann and was like, I didn't need a ring like that when I was.
Guys, think about it. Kessinger manipulated the damn people that were interrogating her. She had those men manipulated. Look how she was acting. Well, she thought she was manipulating them. Playing the victim and all of that.
I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age. Just kind of kept boiling over and boiling over. And they never agreed on anything. It was just like, we didn't really need their help to do anything. We're just like, so we'll just pay for it ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And, it was just back and forth. And I think maybe my mom just never thought she was good enough. She always thought she was hiding something from me.
Alright, wait a minute. Tanisha, is it bad that I totally feel sorry for Chris Watts? I feel so sad for him. Not excusing him at all, though. Alright, can you clarify why you feel bad for him? He murdered his wife and his children. He had a choice to get a divorce, to pack his shit and go back to his parents if he needed to. I'm sure mommy would have let him go right back home. He was having an affair on his wife. Look at the way he murdered his children and his wife, his pregnant wife. How could anybody feel sorry for him? Chris and Chris alone chose to do this. He chose to annihilate his family, guys. So I don't understand why we would think, feel bad for him. Who we should be feeling bad for are the true victims here. And that's Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico that never had a chance to be born. That's where the attention needs to be. That's where it all needs to be. And if you do feel sorry for Chris, it's because Chris is able to manipulate you to feel sorry for him. Because that's what sociopaths do. They try to make you feel sorry for them. They play the victim. There's a difference between somebody that plays the victim and somebody that is the victim. And we have a lot of people that play victims, but we can see through that shit.
She always thought Shanann was hiding something? Like what?
Stuff from her past, or
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So there's conflict at a barbecue when all the families got together. And the first, maybe a barbecue that Shanann put together for everybody to get to meet each other. Two families, if you call that. Like when you first started dating.
Oh. I remember we did have something like that, but I didn't remember any kind of arguments at any place like that. I know when I proposed to her, Shanann had her family come down to me.
All right, Max, very hard to believe the entire court case took only a few months to complete to sentencing. That's because they had severe evidence that there was no what he did. There was some concrete evidence. This is the fastest case I've ever seen. And Chris had the perfect technology in his home to do that.
These two, they stayed at a separate house.
He only took a plea deal, guys, for his life, so that he didn't get sentenced to the death penalty. So there's a difference between pleading something and plea. A plea deal is, I'll give you this for that. I'll do this for that. But pleading guilty, pleading no contest, and pleading not guilty are different from a plea. A plea bargain is pleading for a bargain, like it states. So it's a bargain. I'm pleading I'm pleading for my life.
But as far as like a barbecue right now, I remember one that was like that.
Way before then.
Yeah. I remember the time when I asked Frank to, it was okay if I had asked Shannon to marry her. Remember that little get together? I don't think.
Alright, I want to clarify something because I see a lot of people say you feel compassion for him. Guys, I would be the first one to feel compassion and empathy for this man if I thought he was being honest and he was telling the truth and that he wasn't letting these victims die in vain. And he was honestly showing me sympathy, remorse, and saying, oh my God, I really effed up. Like, God, I messed up. If he showed me that, then I would say, you know what? I would have a little bit of feeling something for him, possibly. Because as human beings, we do have compassion. People with hearts have compassion in that aspect. But nothing in these confessions are showing me to feel that compassion for him. And I'm being honest, and I'm telling you the truth. Because he's not showing me any reason to have that compassion or to have that empathy for him.
So then what was the wedding about?
It was just my mom and pretty much my sister just, I think she didn't like her.
Oh,
They just thought, you know, that Shannon had taken me away from them and moved me out to Colorado.
oh,
Because we were in Colorado when we flew back to get married.
oh, okay.
Because we had.
Becca, you're absolutely right. What he did to these babies, there is absolutely no excuse for that. None. None. There's nothing he can say that's going to bring these babies back. Nothing. So when you say he's actually coming clean, okay? He's coming clean. He's telling the truth. He's showing dignity to them. Look how he killed them. Look how he disposed of their bodies, guys. Like, how could we show that compassion to him for that? Like, that's difficult, right? Like, I couldn't show this man any type of that. But if he was honestly bawling his eyes out and saying, oh my God, I just lost it. I snapped. You know, and that can happen. It can happen. It happens all the time. But this is not the case here. That didn't happen with this man. That did not happen. This was premeditated, guys. And I can show you the evidence to back that up. I can show you the proof. He didn't snap. He premeditated all of their murders. And he planned it all out. He calculated it. It was a calculated plan. So do you think he just planned to kill Shanann and then all this happened and the girls were alive and went into the truck and all that? No, guys. Because he premeditated this. He premeditated these murders. And it was a very calculated. He did it in a nice, controlled manner, too, when he took their bodies to the truck. It was a complete, calm, controlled manner. Getting on the news the next day, begging for their return. Controlled manner. You ever heard the saying that the lights are on but no one's home? That's what you seen in Chris. The lights were on, but nobody was home.
We went to Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends, and we decided to move out there like a couple months later. So that was like April. I moved out there April 2012. We got married in November 2012 in North Carolina. So they always thought I was mistaken that she took me away out there.
All right, for the person that's commenting right now saying that it was a hoax, how disrespectful to the family and the pain that they are in right now. That family has gone through enough. And to say it's a hoax is very disrespectful. You know, very disrespectful. Would you tell the family that's suffering right now in a tremendous amount of pain that was a hoax? If I lost one of my children, God forbid, or my grandchildren, God forbid, and someone told me that was a hoax, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, stop. Just stop. That's crazy. And disrespectful.
Is there something with invitations or something? Your sister was supposed to send invitations.
Yeah, there was. Okay, now you're bringing some memories back. There's something to do with that, and then my sister wanted, her kids. Oh, my sister wanted her kids as like the ring bearer and like. Something else, ring bearer and flower girl.
Yes, there are hoax out there, unfortunately. Hoax with people that pretend like they are cancer, they have cancer and they want money for it, and people give them that type of hoax. But when we're talking about murder here, your whole family's annihilated, things like that, coming up with those stupid conspiracy theories, that type of shit just really pisses me off. And that's crazy. It was not a hoax. There are true victims here in this situation. Shanann was a live human being. She was. Bella and Celeste and Nico. And they are gone now. They're victims. That was a hoax. Because it's totally disrespectful to them. That's horrible. Like, I just can't believe, like, come on.
Then Shanann, like, she told her no, either Shanann told her no or Jamie backed out because of something else, and then it just like all blew up.
And is that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah, within a couple weeks.
Did they go to the wedding, your family?
My grandma did.
But your parents and your sister did not go.
Ronnie wasn't there either?
No. Nobody was there. My grandma was there, and then like the dance when the groom dances with his mom, like it was I would dance with Mark's mom and my grandmother.
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it all comes from a place of love, them loving you and not wanting to get stolen.
It was a great day. I mean, everybody was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head. They were never there, and every time they took a picture, it's just like, oh, where's out there? Never knew if they actually were going to come anyways, but as far as sometimes they'll just like, all right, we're just going to go just to be there, but they never knew if that was the case.
And so then when Tammy was asking why were you so mad at Shanann, was part of it just this whole family strife?
That's the only thing I can think of right now, because I mean, there's no other reason really to be mad at her. we took care of each other our whole 8 years. It was just like a good relationship.
Did you just hear that? He said he couldn't think of any other reason to be mad at Shanann because they took care of each other for a whole 8 years. They took care of each other. And the only thing he could think of to be mad at her about was the peanut incident and her not wanting the parents to be involved. Did you guys just hear that? Okay, well, then add Kessinger to the mix. So I think Chris is making that excuse about the peanut incident because he just stated there was no reason to be mad at Shanann because of the whole 8 years they were together. They took very good care of each other. So what he's saying right there is he had a good wife that loved him and was a caring wife. So there was no reason for me to be mad at her. For 8 years, she took care of me. So that's what he's making an excuse as, is the peanut thing. He wants them to believe that. But don't think for a second these investigators are believing that crap. They're not believing that. They're not buying that. Like, come on. They're not buying that crap. No, I don't know who Critical K is. Anybody that has a critical in the beginning of their name, like, you know, I just, critical, like, come on. Yeah, that's another thing, guys, right there. Also, Ronnie Watts left his cocaine razors lying around. So, Ronnie was supposed to be clean off of drugs. When Shanann put in a text that the peanut ordeal, and she's very upset because she came back in and there was razors laying around in the house, and Shanann was a very protective mom. What mother isn't? Like, come on. I am so protective of my kids and my grandkids and my dogs. Even my dogs I'm protective of. Like, of course she's going to act like that. Even like Shanann said, I deserve a damn gold medal for not saying the things that I really wanted to say to your family. Like, keep in mind, if Chris's father was an addict and his mother is a narcissist the way she was, Chris had some issues already going on, guys. There were some issues from his childhood. This isn't like just a pop-up, like, ordeal. Kessinger gets involved and then all of a sudden this happens. Like, there was some issues already. Kessinger fueled those issues. She fueled them. Absolutely. But like he said, his relationship was like not like his mother's and father's relationship with, you know, his relationship with Shanann was like her mother and father. And her mother and father have a very strong relationship of communication. They have been together for a long time, and there's a good communication line between there. So now you add a drug addict, Ronnie Watts, with a narcissist mother that's codependent, and that right there is a problem. They're the problems. Then you add, probably, you know, you get your lying from your mother. That's why Chris became a pathological liar. Because Shanann felt it necessary that if she made up with the mother after the peanut ordeal, that she needed to record that conversation. Because she said she didn't want her to twist it around and lie on her. So why would Shanann feel it necessary to have to record this woman, her mother-in-law? Just so her mother-in-law wouldn't twist the story. Well, ding, ding, ding. Here you go. Chris Watts twisting the story. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, guys. It doesn't.
I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? Probably not.
Did you just hear that? If I never would have met Nikki, would I have ever thought mine and Shanann's relationship was bad? No, I never would have. I never would have thought it. Right there. Right there.
That's one thing I always thought about. Like, even Nikki asked me, like, I don't want you. She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, no. Because I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all.
See, I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. So, if Chris is in a verbal abusive relationship from his wife, why is he stating this now? Why is he stating this? Because right now, he's being honest, guys. He's telling the truth right now. That's the truth right now. Right there, he is telling you guys the truth. We're going to back it up. I want everybody to listen to this.
I was so mad at Shanann. It was part of it, just this whole family strife.
That's the only thing I can think of right now, because, I mean, there's no other reason really to be mad at her. We took care of each other our whole 8 years. It was just like a good relationship. I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? I would not.
Interesting.
She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, no. Because I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. Like, I've never tried to follow anybody,
Was Shanann checking your phone, or?
She always had my phone.
She was checking your phone. So how did you get past that?
I used my work phone.
To text? And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you using anything else to have contact with her?
No, I just texted her with my work phone. And when Shanann and kids went to North Carolina, she used my personal phone. And she just told me, to put pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, just searched on the app store, hidden pictures, and this calculator app person popped up.
Like in your iCloud or your whatever isn't linked together, so she would know if you're...
Guys, what I just took of that whole conversation was, if I never would have met Nikki, this never would have happened. That's what I just got from that. If I never would have met Nikki, this never would have happened. What kind of hold did this Nikki girl have on him? Honestly. I don't think he would have. I think Chris would have still been submissive like his father, because he learned that behavior from his father. All behaviors from a child are learned from their parents, and he learned how to be submissive. So I think Chris would have just continued on his life and continued to be submissive. And Shanann's was a very extroverted person and took control. And the reason why she had to take control is because Chris couldn't do it. And how many women, honestly, guys, how many women out there does not take control of their house and how things are? That is who we are. We have children and we have sons that we have to raise to be men, right? And we have to raise them to be men. But the father raises them how to truly be a man. But we have to teach our daughters and stuff. And we have control. We like to decorate our house a certain way. We like to do our kitchen a certain way. And the man usually goes with the flow. Men usually go with the flow. And they usually don't make decisions. I don't know not one man right now that can say that's in a marriage that they don't have any problem with their wives making a decision. Normally, they'll look at their wife, if they're in the store and say they're looking at furniture, they'll look at their wife first and say, honey, you think we should buy this? That's the first thing a man does. Because the wife normally does run the show. There's a saying, happy wife, happy life. That saying isn't there for no reason, guys. Like, it's not saying, you know. So the whole point is, Chris would have went with the flow. Kessinger comes in, that gives him the motive. The premeditation comes in. Now he realizes, I gotta get out of this relationship. I gotta get out of this financial burden. I'm not gonna be able to have a life with Nikki that she wants, that she's dreamed about having, because I'm so in love with her. And so now I need to annihilate the family, get them out of the picture, so that I can start a whole new life. Right now, Chris is trying to act like the sweet guy, the Chris Watts that, you know, the person he wanted everyone to believe he was. He's got his mask on again. So everyone can't be buying this crap. Cannot be buying this crap. His mask is on right now. And that's called the fake Chris Watts mask. Chris would have continued to went with the flow just like his father, Ronnie, does. Ronnie has to use drugs for a reason. People that start to use drugs, there's a reason why they start to use drugs. Something's gone on in their life. Something painful has happened. They don't just go to drugs to just go to drugs. You know? It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. It just doesn't work like that. So Chris would have went with the flow like Ronnie Watts has continued to go with the flow. Chris is in his 30s, so I'm assuming his parents have been together for over 30 years. And Ron Watts has sat back and went with the flow and let Monster-in-law, I'm going to call her, because I'm not even going to call her by her name, Monster-in-law take control of everything. And Chris learned that behavior, to sit back and be submissive, and that's just that. The women usually run the show. And Chris would have never had a problem with that. Never. But Kessinger came along, guys. And that changed. That changed for him. I just hope Chris really starts telling the truth one day. I wasn't expecting him to be truthful. To be honest, I wasn't expecting him to be truthful. That would have just set myself up to be stupid if I thought that he was going to be truthful in any of these confessions. He, again, is given twisted truth. It would be nice to hear all the investigators right there tell their point, you know. Right now, keep in mind, they're not doing an interrogation. They're just trying to get information. So they can't come back at him and say, you know what, we don't believe you right now, Chris. Because again, he could say, F off, and walk out, guards, take me back to my cell. And then everything gets shut down, and they don't get any information. There's a reason they popped up there on him. First off, they knew it would cause him severe anxiety if he knew that they were coming to question him about that. They popped up on him because they needed some more questions. And they had to get some questions answered. And I bet you anything, in about 2 months to maybe 6 months, we're going to hear that they went right back and they I'm sorry, I just misspoke. That they went back and talked to him again. And it's not going to be in 2 and 5 years from now. I think it's going to be in 2 to 6 months. Mark my words and quotate them. It's going to be in about 2 to 6 months. They're going to go back and visit Mr. Watts there. Because there's something more to this story. And definitely something more to this story. And there's way more sinister things that happen, guys. Way more. And we just have to really be open to that. You know, we have to be open to that. We have to let the real truth show us. And that's called physical evidence. Go to the... Read those discovery files for yourself. And then listen to what he's stating here. And there's your answers right there. The facts. We have to look at the facts. And what he's saying is contradicting all of the facts. What he said is worse. I've seen all the files. Okay, that is horrific. What he said happened is absolutely horrific. But keep in mind, I think something way more sinister and horrific happened, and it happened in that home. And it happened before Shanann got home. Trust that. I'm going to look more into this. I'm going to analyze this confession tape again. I'm going to look at all the documentation. I'm going to really, really analyze it and tell you guys. But hearing all of this, I've already caught this man in so many lies. Have already proved it. And he's not trusted. Like, you can't believe anything he says. Once a liar, that's it. You're a liar. Like, it's hard to believe anything you say after that. Even if they're telling you the damn truth, you can't even believe a liar. Because they already lie. You know? We're not talking about a kid here that, you know, hey, did you just eat a cookie when I told you not to? No. Like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a liar. This man is a liar. And just go back and listen to these confession tapes and catch him. You can catch him in 50 million freaking lies. Okay, I have not seen any video evidence showing me that the girls were alive, guys. What I know is that a family member seen these babies being taken out in black garbage bags. And Shanann was wrapped in a sheet. This is what I know. So that would explain the 2 garbage bags that were out at the site and what the person stated to me. And these are people that are very close to the case, okay? They had to see this. And that's awful. Just awful. They were carried out like garbage. Actually, garbage is treated better than what they were carried out as, okay? Because garbage can get recycled and goes in different things, and you're actually pretty nice to garbage because you recycle it. These poor babies, guys, these poor babies. Keep in mind, some evidence is so horrific that the family does not want out. They don't want out. all the family wanted out of this confession and why they were so anxious to get on Dr. Phil was to clear Shanann's name. And thank God he cleared her name. And my heart has been lifted by that. Is that he finally admitted, you heard it out of his own mouth, that he killed his girls. So we can sit here and say, well, they were killed at home or they were killed at this place. That really doesn't matter. They were dead and they died horrifically. That's what we have to focus on too. But we also have to focus on the fact that Shanann's name has finally been cleared. Finally. And she can finally, like, rest, honestly. You know? Because she would never hurt her babies. She was so protective of her babies. She loved those babies. She would have never, ever hurt her babies. Never. So that's the only thing Chris gave out of this. The story he told in the confession is horrific. Absolutely, it's horrific, that story. But I'm telling you guys, something way more sinister happened. He himself said he didn't even know that Bella's mouth was like that or anything. Like, do you guys realize, like, how he had to dispose of them in an 8-inch diameter thing? Hole? Like, these are the true victims. And I know that people have a heart, and I know that people have to understand this. So bashing Shanann and saying, you know, she deserved this and she was controlling and she had this and that. Well, you know where to go. Pack your shit and go home. Shanann even told him, if you don't want to be with me anymore, you know where to go. Bye. I can't fight for this marriage unless you're going to fight with me. I can't do it by myself. Shanann displayed a strong woman that had determination. She inspired you by her determination. Her ability to never give up and to just keep on going. Like, that's inspiration to me. Her words were inspirational. It's like, you know, I just don't get why people are so cruel. Like, this world is already full of so many evil things and cruel things that we just gotta have a heart. We gotta have compassion and we gotta have understanding here. And I think we're putting that towards somebody that's acting like the victim here. And we can't do that, guys, because the true victims is Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico. They're the true victims. That's where the attention needs to be put on, is them. And Chris alone chose to kill his family. Chris chose that. And Chris has not shown any type of remorse. Not after listening to this crap. None. I don't hear any type of remorse from him. I don't hear any emotional anguish that you would have if you were a parent that truly snapped and said, oh my God, I really effed up. God, I effed up. All I hear is just Chris. It's all about Chris. Let me play the victim here. Let me be the victim. There's an extended autopsy report that wasn't released with the discovery files, but there was an extended autopsy report. The reason why they didn't put it with the discovery files was because the family, to hear that part is awful. That's why the DA, when they were in interview, did not want to go into details about that. But keep in mind, Bella, from shoulder to shoulder is like 12 inches. He's putting her into an 8-inch diameter hole. Her shoulder got dislocated from having to stuff her in that hole, guys. Yes, there's hundreds of pages missing from the discovery files. And that would be her autopsy pictures, Bella's autopsy pictures, all of their autopsy pictures. There's a lot of things that are hidden. Videos, everything. The only reason why the Vivint doorbell camera footage got released was to clear the rumor that Shanann was intoxicated. That was the only reason. And that cleared that. And now what I take from Chris's lying confession, and clearly he lied, is that he cleared Shanann's name. He took responsibility for killing the girls. How he killed them, we don't know. I don't think we'll ever know, because I can't believe this. I'm sorry, I'm not buying any of this, because I've already caught him in so many different damn lies. I can't believe it. Do you think this latest audio is complete or sections missing? Definitely there's sections missing. About an hour audio is missing. I timed it. There's definitely an hour missing. So this last interview is bullshit. I don't think it's bullshit. I think it cleared Shanann's name, which was what they were intended to do. I think they have an open, ongoing investigation, and they ask questions pertaining to that. And I think it cleared up a lot of speculation that was on the case. But the biggest thing that it was, that it cleared Shanann's reputation. The only thing she had left. And now all the people that were stating that she murdered her children, they can shut up. Because she didn't murder her kids. You just heard it out of his mouth. Nicole Kessinger is probably doing a Casey Anthony ordeal. I don't even think Casey Anthony went into a witness protection. And there were so many people giving her death threats. I just seen something about Vivint. Where was all the rest of the Vivint video? Her family has the choice to allow that to be released, and I don't think they're going to ever release that. That was too horrific. Her family couldn't even watch what Frankie had to watch. So I don't think that's ever going to be released, and I pray to God that's never going to be released, because that would be truly horrific and not fair. Not fair for Shanann. Not at all. Keep in mind, on Dr. Phil, if you guys go back, Dr. Phil stated to the lawyers of Frank and Sandy, do you think that Sandy believed Chris Watts' confession? The lawyer wouldn't answer that. He didn't answer that question. He went to immediately stating her whole thing is to clear Shanann's reputation. That's it. So none of them are buying his confession. Because like I said, the physical evidence does not support this confession. Doesn't support it. I'm not sure if Frankie saw all of the Vivint video. He was shown a video that he had to witness. They do that in these cases to tell who these people are. You have to identify them. And Frankie, instead of having his mom and dad do it, he was the one to witness that, which was horrific for Frankie, and that's just so sad. And I'm sure that's embedded in his mind forever, which is awful. Streamed for 7, let me see. The video streamed at 7 a.m. was 4 hours, 46 minutes. Yeah, but when my lawyer requested this, they said it was a 5-hour. So streaming it may be different because if it's streamed, you have streaming time that before it starts and before it ends. So there's time that's added to that. What I took and what I have that my lawyer gave me downloaded is 4 hours long. Okay, I've seen a 6-hour CNN video posted. Keep in mind, they do editing too. So, I know that it was a 5-hour long video. Okay, no, the Vivint video. Bye, Solaire. Okay, Sheila. All right, Colorado may have laws, but victims' rights overstep those laws. And a victim's rights, they don't have to give the public any information or any of those type of videos. That's like releasing autopsy videos. They don't have to do any of that, guys. That's crazy. So when they say, oh, the public has the right to know and they need these videos, no. Unless somebody leaks them, then that's a different story. But that's why they put victims' rights, so that the victims have rights, so that they can say, yes, I want them released, or no, I don't want them released. And like the Vivint doorbell camera video got released, and it was only released to prove that Shanann was not intoxicated. And isn't that sad that that had to be released just to prove that? Like, the family has already gone through enough, and they got to release that? Like, God. But, guys, we'll get into more of this once I go over all the documents, the confession, and discovery files. I'm going to show you guys more of these lies here. Also, I got some information on Monster-in-Law that's come to me. And it's pretty mind-blowing. Yeah, pretty mind-blowing. But that's all gonna come to you guys, and yeah, I have to be quiet right now on that. Absolutely, he psychologically disassociated himself. He has. Yes, Gina, I'm so glad you haven't, girl, but trust me, I get it on my page. And it's awful. I don't know why they do it. Maybe to press my buttons. You would think people would have a heart and not do that to Shanann. There's also channels out there that are targeting Shanann, saying she had Munchausen's by proxy disorder and all kinds of crap. That Cece didn't even have peanut allergies and just terrible things. And that's just heartbreaking. Like, really heartbreaking. Like, how could you do that? Yes, the world has gotten really, really sick. How can people hate Shanann? Oh my God. I don't know, because watching her videos, guys, I don't even know her. I've never met her in my life, but watching her videos made me gravitate to her and just like I know her just from watching those videos because of how inspirational she was. Like, her personality, her shine, her smile, like, just everything about her, just like, it draws you to her. Yeah, sometimes people hate what they can't be. They're jealous. They envy, absolutely. But you have to understand that everyone has a story. You can't look at, like, the surface of something and judge a book by its cover. You have to understand that that person has a story, and that story, you know, could be a horrific story. Myself, like, you know, I come across as a very strong person, and I am strong when it comes to helping victims in domestic violence and child abuse cases. But I have weaknesses too, and I also have a story. I actually have a horrific story. Horrific, starting from my childhood. But this isn't about me. So, you know, we all have a story, and it doesn't hurt to be kind. It doesn't hurt to just be nice to people. You never know, like when you meet a stranger and just a simple smile and a hello would actually change that person. Because maybe that person was thinking that day to commit suicide. But your smile and your hello talked them off the edge, literally. You absolutely never know where or what that person is thinking. So just a nice smile, a hello. If you see someone having a bad day, you know, looking at them and just give them a smile. And just those little small gestures. Like, you never know people that are in pain, because people that are in pain hide it. They hide it very well. I remember when I was in an abusive marriage, I was actually a manager, and I ran a store. And I remember going to work, and in the summertime, I would have long sleeves on to hide my bruises. But I would go, and one of my employees had, she was in abuse. And I told her, girl, I would never let a man do that to me. Never. You know, acting all big and bad. But when I went home, guys, that's exactly what was happening to me. Because when I went to work, it was a lights, camera, action. I wasn't showing anybody that. I was showing everybody, I'm strong. I got this. But in reality, that's not what was happening. Because I went home to abuse. But at work, I was somebody. I was a manager. I was, you know, a person that can control this and have people that looked up to me. I got to be a different person at work. Let me read. My mom was very abusive growing up. I even got hit by a car and I ran off and lied to her because I was scared what she would do to me. Holly, I'm so sorry. That's horrible. It is a facade, you know, and so you never know, like, what people are going through, guys. So it doesn't hurt to just be kind, to be understanding. Everyone has a story. Gina, is that called disassociation? What do you mean by that? It's actually called denial if you're talking about being able to do the lights, camera, action. Your only escape from your abuse at the time, you know, they have power and control over you, but at work they don't. So at work you can be you, you can finally be you. So it's just, you know, it's not about the power and control. My mom was bad too, but more mentally, emotionally, and verbally, and had to completely remove her from my life. Yes, Megan, and knowing that that has to be very hurtful, because that was your mom, and I'm so sorry. But you did the right thing. Toxic people we do have to remove from our life. You know, you have to surround yourself with positive people. Disassociation is feeling like you aren't in your body, like you're not present. Trauma survivors disassociate a lot. Yes. Especially post-traumatic stress disorder. I noticed after I had left my abusive marriage, I suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And actually, a lot of my memories of the abuse is gone. I don't have any memories with this person. But I notice on certain months and dates, I go through extreme anxiety for some reason. So, Misty, you have it. I know it's so hard. PTSD it's bad. I have it too, girl. But I notice I suffer the most on these anniversary dates. And what it is my brain has stored it away and I've blocked it out. But my brain is going, wait a minute, let me remind you of this, because your brain doesn't forget. So that's why we go through anniversary dates. They're called anniversary dates to victims. And when you are a victim of domestic violence and stuff like that, or any kind of trauma, you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorders, and you wonder why is my anxiety so high today? Like, dang, this anxiety is so, like, through the roof. And then you go to your oh, now I know why. Now I know why. My dad was an abusive alcoholic. I first called on him at the police at the age of 8. And then I got with my son's father, who was the same way, but drugs, not alcohol. Yes, because it's called a circle. It's something that you thought was normal growing up. That these types of behaviors are normal. So you find yourself getting into those same types of behaviors. But you're the only one that can break that pattern. You break that circle. To anyone who ever's gone through trauma, there is no right way to respond. Trauma responses are normal reactions to abnormal circumstances. However you respond, cope is not wrong. Absolutely, Nicole. Absolutely. You're so right. Thank you. That is so right. Angelina, I'm trying to help my children, teens now, and it is hard. Absolutely, especially when they become teenagers. They have a lot of anger in them. They have a lot of resentment. They don't understand why, you know, if mom stayed in that relationship, why did you allow it? Like, you know, they got a lot of anger in them, and it's going to take time and counseling. And it's very important, because you can't do it alone, that they get the proper counseling, you know, and just keep showing them love. I broke the circle. I am very proud of my growth, too. Absolutely, Miss Blue Ryan. I'm proud of you, too, because it's very hard to break that circle. It's extremely hard, guys. But guys, it's late and I'm gonna get off of here, and I want you all to have a blessed night and just think happy thoughts after this big freaking terrible sad confession. Just awful. I just hope everyone didn't buy into this crap. Like, it's awful. I once had a baby, but instead keeping it shit into what? Seriously, Jesse. Seriously. Good night. Love and light and many blessings. Absolutely. Lady caller call back to say they would be. Alright, I want to clarify really quick. Carol Murphy. Susan, it's reported after he called to cancel the girls' schooling, a lady caller called back to say they would be. Alright, that second caller after Chris called the school was actually somebody that Atkinson knew and was from the same school. So she had them call and verify something. So that's where that statement is coming from. No problem, guys. Thanks for staying with me here and going over this stuff. You guys are absolutely awesome. Like, really, you really, really are. Yes, he did lie. But guys, have a blessed night, sweet dreams, and know that you are loved and you're amazing. Well, Kensba, why aren't you going to be sleeping tonight? Yes, Amber Thayer was a director of that school, I do believe. Yeah. All right, Megan. Misty, I so appreciate you guys. You're awesome. I know, Kinsbo. I do too. I do too. I have the nightmares. It's so sad. It's like, I don't think, you know, this has definitely left a mark that is just awful. It's so sad. So sad. Yes, talking about all of the trauma and stuff with you guys, it does help you to talk about it. That is a salt lamp, Ursula. Yeah, they are. They're so relaxing. They're supposed to change the mood, too, in your house. I'm going to do a couple of giveaways with you guys with some salt lamps. So, and a couple of other different things, so. It is soothing. Ireland, OMG. Morning time here in Ireland. I think this is the saddest thing I've heard in my 52 years. May God forgive him. Yeah, it is. I've never in my life have ever heard this case. And he made it sound so lightly, like it was nothing. That's the saddest part. Well, the cat might lick the salt lamp. Wait a minute. If her friend Nicole hadn't woken up to it at the beginning, this would be a completely different story. Yep. He is a calculated killer, that is for sure. Yes, those poor babies. That he is, guys. And these confession tapes just show how sick and heartless he really is. What do you mean, Cece? Why do you put people on timeout? For me, example. What did you do that got you on timeout? I didn't put you on timeout, Cece. What happened? No, I didn't put you on timeout. Shanann was a great life, and Chris just admitted it in that tape. You guys just heard it for yourself. He just admitted that. All right, Misty, why did you put Cece on timeout? Yes, I have cried too, Crystal, thinking about those little ones. Oh my God, I've cried so bad. Cece, you better re-like and subscribe. I have moderators on here that put you on timeout if they think you're saying something bad. Yes, guys, keep in mind, just by subscribing and watching the videos, you are helping victims of domestic violence and child abuse. And that there is amazing to think that just by doing that, you're helping. So don't forget that. Nina, it is more gruesome hearing what he's stating, but also I think there's way more sinister than what he is stating. Something way more sinister. That alone, what he's saying is horrific. Don't get me wrong. Horrific. You know. Just terrible. And how there was no emotions like saying that. Because Chris had no respect for his mother. And I've been saying that in every video. Every video I've said Chris had no respect for his mom. I could clearly see that. That's right, Kinsbo. Thanks, Grape. Cece, you're funny. That's too cute. Yeah, the ones with the wrenches, they got my back. Those are my girls. So, yeah, I don't think he had sex with her either. I mean, the autopsy even did swabs and does not support that. I don't know if he ever got those rights read to him. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Megan. Yes, great. It is like a support group. Yeah, the autopsy did not mention sex. Cece, are you subscribed? Are you going to have my back? I know, Karen. I don't think any human could do that. That's why Chris is the devil. Like, no human could do that. Yeah, see how he couldn't even answer why he went back to Shanann's car? Isn't that odd? And this is a man, again, with an elephant memory. Just like the dress that he sat there and explained, like a loving father, that he knew this dress that the girls were in. And he's even talked about the buttons in the back of it. And then now to where Chris don't even remember that dress at all. Like, how strange. But you pretended like you knew this dress. Like, that's so weird. Like, just weird, guys. Yep, he has a great memory. But when it comes to his crime, he's all, I don't know. Exactly. There was a lot more to this story, guys. No, he didn't want to say the real truth because the real truth would have been way more sinister. Way more sinister. Just like the investigators are telling him how, you know, Sandy and them still loved him and all that. Well, on Monday, Dr. Phil's going to air again, which they kind of were misleading, you know, which is disappointing. But he asked her, and you didn't get her answer, but he asked her in the trailer, would you feel differently knowing what you know now? And her face looked like, you know, that she basically would have wanted him to go on death row. All right, Misty. I know. I can't fathom it either. Karen, there's definitely more to this. I can tell you that right now. I see these cases all the time. And you could only imagine. Yeah, that interview, you know, I don't know. Yeah, this is the first time Nicole Kessinger was said to have bipolar. I had no idea she had bipolar. Did anybody else? This is why I said that the family got a certain thing and these lawyers go on this show and they don't get their facts. If you go back on one of my videos, I stated this. They go on these shows and they don't get all the facts, you know. And this is why the state was actually surprised in the DA that that even happened on the Dr. Phil. But you can't blame the family for doing that because they took it as clear in Shanann's name and that's what they wanted to do. And that was the mission accomplished, you know. So we have to really take that in consideration. They thought they were doing, you know, the right thing. And they did. They got it out there before anybody else. And you know what? I bet you Chris didn't even know that, or not Chris, that he did the interview with FBI and was totally caught by surprise. And I bet you they had to hear this from maybe Dr. Phil or the media or something. Chris probably still didn't even have the balls to tell them. Yes, he was definitely changing the subject on a lot of things. No, Chris stated in the confession that she was bipolar, so that was clearly, you know, that she was bipolar. Not saying, you know, that people that have bipolar are bad, terrible people, you know. I know a lot of people that have bipolar and they're not bad people. Barney, it's a shame they can't hypnotize him. Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. That they couldn't bring in the equipment either to put on him and see if he's telling the damn truth. I would just love to see Tammy and them's, you know, reaction about what he has to say. But if they're doing an ongoing investigation, they're not going to state any opinions about any of that. Hopefully the DA, since this was released today or yesterday, the DA is going to make a comment about it and kind of clarify if they think what he's saying is true or not. Exactly. I think the girl's Bella was freaking out at the house because he said, I don't really want to talk about that part. So what was so bad? He couldn't say that, but he could say how he killed them. Exactly. Thank you. Right there. Absolutely right. Of course he's like in jail. If you think about it, you know, if Trent is the true story, you know, like in jail, he could be himself. Was that mean? I don't want to be mean. All right, DA Rourke has made a statement that he thinks it's true, Chris' new version. So the DA is stating that maybe that's just to shut everybody down, though. Is stating that he thinks it's a true Chris' new version. You know. What is your theory on what else happened? Honestly, based on physical evidence, what I thought from the beginning, and not going with my heart or anything, keeping my heart out of it, I think that he planned to kill all of them. He killed Shanann. Bella wakes up, witnesses it. Bella gets it, and then Cece. That's what I believe. And that's based off of all of the physical evidence that I have seen. Do you think Chris on the main panel? If it happened downstairs in that location, their sky control panel was located to the left of the interior garage door. So, if this stuff happened upstairs, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it definitely would have captured him bringing them out. That's for sure. And they could subpoena Vivint and get that, because it's, you know, it's going to keep rolling. Yes, because I think Bella kept getting up in the middle of the night, Crystal, and was looking for her mommy. And her mommy promised her, Bella, you'll see me in the morning, go to bed. And Chris promised her, you'll see your mommy in the morning. Yeah, the dogs did alert in Bella's room. I think way more happened at the house. Bella probably was crying and was just trying to deal with Shanann. He probably was really awful to her. Yeah. Which would explain her mouth and stuff, guys. Sandra, I'll never understand how he has so many women wanting him in the jail system. Sick women. Absolutely sick women. Those are women with no self-esteem. And if you see a lot of them writing him, I've never been married, and I mean, just sick. Yes, Kinsbo, I agree. The only thing I get comfort in is knowing is that I don't think he killed the girls first anymore. I couldn't imagine Shanann knowing her girls were gone. Me neither. That would be so horrific. Her babies, like, all of this is such a horrific, so horrific, guys. What he did is no excuse. Like, there's nothing he can say in this world. No, Misty, it's still on, babe. Yeah, he was messing with the settings on Vivint, so he must have been up to something. And I still think she didn't fight back. But Oxy in her Thrive drink, in my opinion. Very well could have, but they did do toxicology, and it didn't show any oxycodone. Do they think that he wouldn't have done the same thing to them? It's there, Misty. It's there. I haven't even had a chance to read any of the documents because I had such a busy day. I had 2 court proceedings and it just dragged out. Yeah, Karen, I think that baby did hide under her bed because that dog went right for the bed and he alerted pretty heavy in there. She probably did hide under her bed. All right, Jesse, when I seen the video where it looked like a child, I thought it was a shadow from the actual garage. But what I see out of that, looking back at it again, I see him carrying 2 bodies and only 1 child shadow. And that child looked pretty small, and that would have been Cece. If I'm seeing that correctly, and I don't know if that was an edited video that I'm watching or the actual video, so I can't really speculate on that. But what I did see, that would be Cece. It would have had to been Cece. Chris searches Oxy on the Friday, and then, well, maybe he's trying to figure out, you know, how he's going to kill her exactly. Keep in mind, she was in a shock state. If you're sleeping, right, and somebody wakes you up and gets on top of you like that, you're kind of confused. Do you ever, like, wake up in a confused state? Because, you know, you're like, damn, what day is it? Is it night? Like, you know what I mean? You're in a confused state. You know, that could be why she didn't fight back. Also, if she was trying to be quiet for her girls, because she didn't want her girls to see her being killed. I mean, that just horrifies me, and I can't even go to that space. Oh my God, I can't. Donkey, I'm not sure. You could be right. I don't know. When he posted that video of the doll, he was absolutely premeditating it. And that's the evidence right there. That's all the evidence anybody needed was that. Yeah, she did have a previous neck injury and surgery. And so, you know, and she was complaining on the plane that her neck was killing her. You know, it was hurting her really bad. Because stress, you know, and you tense up too. Exactly. So if you look at the facts, and these people here know that he's lying clearly in the confession because they know it was premeditated. So Chris's story that, you know, he's given, they know he's lying. So, of course, it makes sense that the DA gets on the news and says, oh, yeah, we believe this story. Because that would just shut everything down and everybody would just take it for what it is and be done with it. But people aren't stupid. And that's not going to happen because people aren't stupid. What really got me was that Chris, they said, what were you going to do with the gas can? And this man's talking about he was going to kill himself with his family But then he knew that people were headed out there and there would be innocent people that would lose their life. Did you guys hear that part? Like, really, Chris? You were planning to kill yourself, but you were worried about innocent coworkers coming out there, but you weren't worried about your wife, pregnant wife, and your 2 baby girls? Like, what? What the hell? Exactly. 2 little innocent baby kids. Like, come on. Hi, Jeremiah. Yeah, he didn't want to look bad for killing innocent people. All about the image. But he killed his pregnant wife and 2 daughters. You know? That makes you look like even more of a monster. He would have been better off doing what he said he was going to plan to do, but that was bullcrap. That was another lie. Yeah, and Sandra, or Susie, I think he used his knees to pin her down, like I stated in my other videos. That's typical abuser behavior. They get on top of you to control your body, and they use their knees to pin your arms down, which is exactly what he had stated. But he stated he didn't know if he had used his knees or not. Well, here's a man with the mind of an elephant. How would you not know? Exactly, that part where it was weird to me, she was praying. He said he thought she was praying, you know, maybe a prayer, and that's why she wasn't fighting back. You know, the prayer, he just don't know. Like, it's just such a sad thing. And imagine, guys, today, or not today, because now we're in the morning. Yesterday, her family, I'm not even going to talk about Chris Watts' family, because I don't care about, I have no respect for them. But her family had to hear that audio yesterday. Can you imagine having to listen to that audio? Honestly? Like, of your daughter and your grandbabies? Could you really imagine having to hear that? That horrific, like, oh my God. That just kills me right there. Handled it. Sandy and Frank and them, they are a class act, let me tell you. You know, I don't know where they get their strength, and I know a lot of it is their belief, their religion that helps them. But for me, oh my God, you'd have to sedate me, guys. Honestly, I would end up in a mental institute if that happened. I would seriously be in a mental institute, and that's speaking the truth. No way in this world could I even be able to handle that. There isn't audio of their deaths, is there? Please say I heard you wrong. I'm not going to say that there's audio. That would be speculation. But knowing the equipment, Kensbo, that I have and that the Watts had, leads me to believe that there's definitely some audio of the actual murders. They're just trying to, like, someone had made a comment a second ago that the DA stated that they believe that confession. Well, that would shut down all of that so that no one would say, oh, I want to see those. I want those out. You know? It just shuts it all up and the family doesn't have to go to that. If you people don't know about the breaches in the magnetic field and how it actually all is, why all this weather change, floods and water depleting from coastlines, then you should be talking about it. All right, Jeremiah, what are you talking about? We're not talking about global warming, Jeremiah. Yes, Frankie did say he saw them being taken out like trash. Keep in mind, guys, 2 trash bags were at the survey site, okay? Along with the sheet. And that's facts. And a roll of garbage bags that Chris even stated in confession that he didn't normally keep in his truck. Yeah, he's lying. He's lying. He just can't, you know, tell the truth. He said he put one on her head and one at her feet. Does that make any sense, though? He put one on her head and then one on her feet? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Exactly, Donkey. Both girls were in those bags. Yes, Kylie. He said he did not know about the garbage bags. Yeah, Crystal. He said he put one trash bag on her head and one on her feet so the girls wouldn't see her. Like, so then how more horrific would that be that the girls seen that? Like, that would be even more horrific because then they would know, oh my God, what you've done to mommy. So even more for them to freak out, right? Kylie, he sounded so sincere because that's what sociopaths and pathological liars do. If he was truly sincere and had remorse, you would hear him be devastated. I wouldn't even be able to laugh at any of the jokes the investigators were doing. They were doing that to test him. To test him. And to get him to be, you know, to show like, oh, we're your friend, we're on your side. Because he could have immediately shut down that interview. So it's called manipulation. And Chris's guards do reports, and they already state that Chris is very manipulative and has already tried to manipulate them already. Yeah, that's the key. He sounded so sincere, but he was constantly lying. Alright, Kinsbo. Let me just explain something really quick. I was given a letter by a family member of Shanann's, and this family member asked me not to show it, but to clarify a couple of things. And in that, I was told that the girls were in black garbage bags and Shanann was wrapped in a sheet. And that letter was so heart-wrenching and yet so beautiful, the words that they said, and broke my heart. I couldn't sleep for days. It just really affected me. And that is where I keep sticking with, is what I was told. And it's just, it's awful. Mini-Me, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't want to undermine him. You know, maybe he sees that. And, you know, Chris is already being informed about speculations that people are saying about him. You heard it. You heard it for yourself right there in the confessions. He knows what people are saying about him. So he could have very well took that just like he took Tammy's thing. He didn't think that the girls, you know, that Shanann would do that to the girls, to say that. So he used that. Kylie, you could think that he was remorseful, but being a victim's advocate and seeing these cases all the time, I could show you a parent that has murdered their child or children that are truly remorseful, like truly remorseful, that you could cry with them because they show it. That did not show me anybody that was remorseful. And that is my honest truth that I'm telling you. Yes, Kylie, he's still lying. I just proved and caught him in like 6-7 lies in just one take of it, one 30-minute section. And you guys got to remember, too, when the detective said to Chris, what could we have asked differently to make you open up? And go back and listen to it. And he said, well, you know, if you would have probably stated that you seen the girls' bodies, you know, in the truck loaded up. That stuck in my head right there. That maybe then he would have broke and told the truth if they would have stated that. But they didn't state that. So you have to go back to the confession videos and listen to that. Oh, yeah, Karen, because he didn't have a chance to come up with a story. He only went by what his father was telling him and everybody else that he talks to, what the world's saying about him. Yeah, like the girl saying it smells and how they laid on each other the ride there. Okay, well, how did that happen when you said you buckled them in and they were across from each other in the seats? Because if anybody knows an extended cab, you can Google Chris's his truck and it'll show you the back seat. They would be apart from each other. One would be over here and all the way over here. How could they be right there hugging each other? Yeah, she probably did, because what happens when you pass the smaller muscles in your body, I don't want to get into, like, you know, that, but the smaller part, that's what releases the bowels immediately, and that is before the rigor mortis actually really sets in. So the small muscles of your body will release that. Yeah, he said that Bella unbuckled herself. Yes, everyone does release their bowels and their bladder, and when they pass. Exactly, he doesn't. Chris is incapable of feeling. Why did it take her longer to deliver? Probably because Chris had immediately killed her, got her to the truck within minutes after he killed her. Which then leads me back to still believing that he killed the girls first. So there's like two scenarios there that, you know, that's why even in Discovery Files it states the girls died on the 12th or 13th. Actually, a coffin death is very rare, guys. It only happens in a certain amount of people. And under certain circumstances. It's, you know, it's where the gases build up in the stomach and press the baby out. So, and it's rare. Not necessary, Kylie, because look at, oh, I can't think of her name. Is it Scott Peterson with Lacey Peterson? Her poor baby, she was like 8 months, like ready, almost ready, yeah, to be having her baby, and her baby was born that way, coffin death. So sad. Oh, he's definitely lying. He's doing manipulation. He's remembering those scriptures to try to act like, oh, you know, I believe this and that. Chris can never stop being Chris, guys. Chris is always going to be Chris. He is hiding behind the Bible. Yeah, Jennifer, like, how is he already adjusted to prison life? He's acting like he loves prison. Yeah, those lyrics, Battery, man, and he listened to that because Chris was very fond of lyrics and things like that, so... Pauline, because I was asked not to, and out of respect for them, I always respect the victims, and, I just can't. I would never do that to them. I honestly could never do that. I'm just not that type of person. I don't have, you know, yeah, I could gain a lot by doing it, but that's gonna hurt the family, and they asked me not to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. It's just, that wouldn't be right of me, you know? No way. So I have to respect the victims. They are the true victims here. And not be for my personal gain. That would be very selfish of me. Kylie, where he said he would like to talk to her one last time. Like, really? Seems like you would learn your lesson. That's just crazy. But guys, it's getting late. I gotta get up early. I have so much I gotta do tomorrow. Yeah, Kinsba, that's weird. He said he wished he just never continued with Nicole Keshner, yet wanted to speak to her one last time. Contradicting. Yeah, that is a big contradiction, huh? That's odd. Because he's once again lying. Because he is the biggest liar. Alright, good night, guys. You're amazing. Don't forget that. And have a wonderful night, everybody. Oh my God, Sandra, I'm so sorry. It's awful. Alright, guys, good night. Bless you all. You are truly amazing. Like, amazing. Don't forget that, guys. You are amazing. There's my girl. More than one way to skin a snake. Girl, I'm going to add you to the balloon tribute that I did for Shanann because you did want to do that, and I am going to put you on there. Don't think I forgot you. You know, I want to say thank you too because you really wanted to do that for Shanann, and that was so amazing and so wonderful. Thank you, Sandra. That's right, Kinsbo. Sweet dreams. Chris can rot in hell. Next live I might do tomorrow. Depends on what I've come up with. I have to be very careful in this monster-in-law, I don't want to call her name, situation that I had just found out on. A lot of nice, interesting things. Mind-blowing. But how I present it, I have to be very careful. And waiting on the right person to advise me on that. How to present it the right way without getting myself into any trouble. I couldn't imagine having a monster-in-law like that. Mm-mm. No way. I've already had one in my first marriage. Guys, go back and listen to those audios. Like, really pay attention and listen to what he says. It tells you a lot of information by just listening to what he doesn't say. What time, Rekka, do you think in Hawaii it's 11:12? Right now it's 11:12 midnight where you are. So probably because I have, let me see, I have 2 cases tomorrow. So I'm going to say probably around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we can do another live and talk about all this. Once I get all this other stuff too together, we can really discuss a lot of this. Let me really analyze this stuff. And yesterday was such a big day. Like, it was just an awful day yesterday for me. But I will give you guys a lot of good information here. So, Jeremiah, did you look into the truth? Define looking into the truth, Jeremiah. I have to be very careful, you know. I know the laws and how they work, you know. Yeah, Megan, it is. My butt's got to get up early, too. Yes, Grape Ape is awesome, Misty. He really is. $1 a.m. there. Where you at? 4:13 here. Gotta get up at 7 a.m. Shit. Yeah. That's the truth. He really likes this. Which one likes the salt rock lamps? That's right, Cece. Go to bed. Grape Ape, you are the love. All right, Jeremiah. What do you like? Do you like salt lamps? The original Chloe, I like the rock salt lamps. You do? You like saving people. Aw, me too, Jeremiah. Grape Ape wants one. Well, Grape Ape, you're gonna get one. I had one of those rock left, and the water, because it was dusted, came back, nothing left. Yeah, you cannot. I leave mine on 24 hours a day, because if you turn them off, they can start to melt. So I leave mine on. Alright guys, here's the thing. A rock salt lamp, send me, I have a P.O. box, send me your address and your information. Just tell me where you are, and I will hook you up. You have to be a subscriber, and I will hook you up. Grape, I will hook you up. Send me your address, okay? I know you don't want to put it up on social media like this. That's dangerous, so don't do that. All right, Jeremiah, what are you talking about? If I give my email, that's another thing I don't like doing. But just, I have a P.O. box. Just send me a letter with your information and your address and everything, and I will make sure you get one. There's so many people out there that you just have to be very, very careful of what you share. So, Megan, sometimes if you take it out and just adjust the bulb, it'll actually turn back on. For some reason, the bulbs start to get warm on one side, so that could help you out. Chris Wilson, hi, can I ask something? Yes, Chris. All right, Jeremiah, why am I having a feeling you're like, I don't know. I'll look into it. Fingerless gloves. Oh, I love those. That's so cute. My favorite color is purple. Purple and pink. I don't know, Great babe, my favorite color is purple too. Yeah, my bedroom's purple. Thank you, Megan. I thought he needed a timeout, because that just didn't seem right, what he kept doing. Yes, I love sparkles. Yeah, I was seeing that. Like, what was the purpose of that? That's crazy to me. Yeah, that salt lamp, it is very, very salty. That's for sure. But all right, guys, it is late, so... Chris Wilson, I have some so-called friends that I thought really cared about me, but turns out don't give a shit about me. What do I say to all of them? I feel like I'm gonna cry right now. Well... then they weren't really worth your time or energy. They really weren't your friends. And I wouldn't say anything to them because you're giving them the satisfaction. And definitely don't cry about it because it's not worth it. Okay, guys, once again, this is it. We're getting off of here. I will see you guys later on this afternoon. Have a blessed night. All of you guys are amazing. And just good night, everybody. Good night, Kinsbo, Megan, the original Chloe, Karen, all of you guys, Natural, Grape Ape, Barney Rebel, Cece, yes, Mini-Me, April Jade, Misty, the original Chloe, you guys are awesome. Chris Wilson, bye. Susie, Cece, Gina, I see all of you guys, you're amazing. You're welcome, Chris. Karen, sweet dreams. Sweet dreams, guys. I will talk to all of you later. Have a blessed day. Get some sleep.